Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Mythic Banter. Go ahead and smash that like button, but not like how Akalon said on the last episode, because that was strange. But do smash the like button and do subscribe.
Like your girlfriend.
Okay, yes, that works. That works. Like your girlfriend. Yeah, sure, that works. And
that could so easily be misconstrued, though.
What?
Because you didn't say spank the like button like your girlfriend. You said smash the like button like your girlfriend. That could either mean smash as in sexy time, or smash as in let's call the police later. So
nobody uses it like that. That's crazy.
I'm just saying it could be. Like tomorrow we could wake up and live stream fails as Rurikon being cancelled because he said smash your girlfriend.
No.
I just want to put it out there.
You guys in South Africa, I don't know how you guys roll, but that is some strange use of the word smash. Okay? Like, no, in current day culture, that is not what smash means at all. But also hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, because, you should. You need to do the YouTube things. Otherwise, YouTube won't like us, and they'll say we're evil and bad things happen. So, yeah. We have a packed lineup today. Lots of drama, lots of gaming news, lots of cool stuff. But how have you been doing, Akalon? I see that you've been sick. Well.
Yeah, I have been sick. I've been good since about yesterday. Today I'm just dealing with sinus. The infection sort of moved into my sinuses, so I'm kind of dealing with that. So I have like pain.
I love it when that
right
happens.
here. Which sucks.
In your ears? Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's like it's moving to my ears, and if I press here, it's like really sore because it's just sinus infection everywhere. So that is fun.
Hell yeah, dude.
You know, hopefully it'll be sorted out by the weekend because I'm done being sick, man. But no, I'm actually very happy because today, for the first time in a long time, while we do have a lot of drama, I feel like we have way more gaming news than what we have drama. Like that's rare. Normally it's like the first hour and a half is drama and like the last half an hour is just we quickly give them the gaming news and then we move on. Whereas now it's like, there's a couple of drama pieces. Most of them won't be that much. And then it's just like a crap ton of gaming news, which I'm very happy for, you know?
Yeah, good stuff. So get us started on the drama bits so that we can move on from that.
All right. Well, I think the biggest story, and obviously Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, this was a fight that everyone looked forward to. And, you know, as I expected, it was all above board, a proper fight like you would expect
not only
to always
above
see,
board,
or am I wrong?
Not only above board, but it was also an amazing spectacle of a fight. Like...
Yeah.
I watched the whole thing on Netflix, not when it was live, because apparently Netflix couldn't handle the live servers and everything exploded and people weren't able to watch it.
It was very bad. It was very bad.
I actually didn't, because the fight was really late for my time, but like in the morning I checked it out and I kind of like skimmed through, because apparently there were a bunch of other fights before the main event. And when I got to the main event,
some of those earlier fights were actually good. The main event was the big problem. The fight leading up to it was good.
It was so bad. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, there's no punches being thrown, and it's just Jake Paul kind of like pelting him and jabbing him, and it almost seemed like, you know, Mike Tyson looked like a caged tiger. He was just like, he's just like ready to all of a sudden pounce out and murder somebody, but he wouldn't. And then he was just like stuck there biting his glove. And I was like, what the hell is this? Is so weird. And initially I didn't really think much of it, but then you start seeing like, you know, people noticing certain things and posting like clips of the fight from specific sections. And it really tells a lot, like the whole communication between fighters. I've seen a video about that where like Jake Paul like clenches and then Mike Tyson gives him a nod, like saying, okay, I'll cool it down, or gives him a tap in the back. And it's like, it's some really weird stuff. But the one that I saw the other day that was very, very telling is the one where Jake Paul's chin is like so wide open that it looks like a $2 prostitute in the middle of the street, just with her legs spread open. That's like Jake Paul's chin. And you can see Tyson just like really coming in, just like, ooh, I'm about to end this man. Not even his whole career, his whole goddamn life. Put this man in a goddamn wheelchair. And then he's like, and he stops the punch midway and he cancels out of it. And it's funny because everybody's saying like, oh, Jake Paul, this amazing athlete. Motherfucker was blocking the wrong side.
Yeah.
He was blocking from the right. The hook was coming from the left. I was looking and I was like, what the hell?
So I'll tell you exactly what I think happened. I think this was meant always to be a moneymaker. This wasn't meant to be an actual fight. Yeah. The thing is, Jake Paul has been into the boxing scene now for how long? And he's not done a single title or even contender fight or even tried to get proper boxers to go up against him.
Because the purpose is not to actually win titles or anything like that. It's to do content. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
He went into
he's
fighting
literally just a YouTuber that moved up his content. And for that, I actually praise him. I think, good on you. This fight was more akin for me to WWE.
Yeah.
It was more WWE. It was meant to get people into the ring or to get people into the stadium, fill up the stadium. And I mean, I think they made bank on this thing. But there's also something that I think people need to remember. Like, I think it was completely fake. And I think my biggest problem with that is it kind of soils the name of boxing. Because when someone goes to a WWE fight,
they know what
they know it's fake as hell. Although there might be some like morons that go, that's real.
It is. Right? It is. No, wait. I think it's important to make a distinction because as somewhat of a wrestling fan back in my younger years, I haven't kept up with it, but I still have a lot of respect for wrestling. I don't think it's fair to say it's fake. You should say it's scripted. Because, like, they're still doing the crazy shit that they're doing on the ring, especially if you think of some of the wrestling performers like Jeff Hardy, for instance. Like, Jeff Hardy is the one who's doing all the swanton bombs and, like, diving off of friggin' scaffolds and whatnot. It's like, he's still doing those stunts. Obviously, there's mattresses and whatnot, but it's still a stunt. And it's like they're doing stunts and they're doing crazy stuff in the ring, and sometimes they get hurt. But it is scripted. Yeah,
the point is it's entertainment, right? It's entertainment. That's all it is. They're not actually swan kicking each other out of the ring, or it's practiced. So they can kick each other, but not hurt each other.
Yeah, the thing that is important is that in some ways you could argue that it might even be harder to perform it that way than to actually fight. Like with fight, they'll hurt each other, but there's a skill to like performing a lot of the wrestling moves in a way that doesn't physically hurt your opponent.
No, I'm not taking anything away from the wrestlers in this instance because it is a massive skill. The problem is if they actually went in there and just fought, it would be very short fights.
Yeah, it would suck. It would absolutely suck.
Be very short fights. Plus, the guys would not try to do half of the crap that they actually do.
Of course not. Because swanton bombing off of the top rope. No, hell no, dude.
No.
Hurt yourself.
So fundamentally, it is entertainment. The thing with boxing is when people go to watch a boxing match,
it's a competitive sport. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't expect it to be scripted. And the other problem, I think, with this fight specifically is that it was fake, but not scripted. Like, if they at least scripted it, so they were practicing ahead of time to figure out exactly how they were going to do it, it would have looked entertaining, right? People would have been entertained at least. The problem here was you could so clearly see that Mike Tyson isn't giving his all. Even in the punches that he did throw, they were...
He's holding back so much.
Yeah, they weren't really, like, unleashing all of the power that he had at his disposal. And the other thing that I should just mention here is I don't hold it against them.
Oh, yeah,
Mike Tyson isn't young. I think people need to remember this. He's at an age now where if they were to actually go at it, even though Jake Paul is not a fighter on the caliber of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson isn't in his prime anymore. If Jake Paul hits him at the right angle with the right shot, he could do serious damage. I mean, I'm talking you could hurt his neck, you could hurt his back, you could do crazy damage.
Here's the thing. I think in a real fight, I don't think Mike Tyson would probably want to go the distance, but I think that in those first 2 rounds, Mike Tyson would absolutely murder him. Like straight up.
He would. He would
just end him like on those first 2 rounds if they just let him off the leash, dude. He would friggin' end Jake Paul. Like you saw the training videos.
Yeah.
Like he's not in his prime, but holy crap, I wouldn't want to be in a ring with him. Screw that.
No, but I agree. I agree absolutely with you. But Mike Tyson is also not a moron. Yeah, he will know that even in fights where you clearly have a better competitor, one competitor is so clearly better than the other, all it takes is one lucky punch.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you had that way back in the day with Lennox Lewis and Rahman, where Rahman beat Lennox Lewis, knocked him out, and everyone was like, what? And then the rematch, Lennox Lewis knocked him out in like 3 rounds or something. Like, it was easy. So it can happen, and that, I think, was Mike Tyson's biggest fear. That's why he would never have signed up for this fight if it was a no-holds-barred, we're going to go beat the crap out of each other. Mike Tyson would have been like, bro, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I will not be able to take a single punch that you accidentally land. You will probably murder me.
Okay. It's okay. Jake Paul would probably not accidentally land any punches if they let him off the leash.
I mean, just watching that fight, he's so slow. Jake Paul is slow. He's sluggish. He doesn't look like he actually has a lot of power behind his punches.
Yeah.
But even then, it was scripted.
There was some banter.
Fake, not scripted.
Yeah, there was some banter. I think he was calling out Conor McGregor or something like that. And Conor was like, I'm too young for you, mate. You need to be fighting old people, dude. I don't want to murder you by mistake. Oops.
Yeah. He did say, I mean, because Conor did tell him, I will fight you if you come down to my weight. And he was like, that's not going to happen because you can see Jake Paul. I want to put something else out there that I think people need to keep in mind. Jake Paul is not natty. Like, the amount of weight that he's put on, he's not natural. So that's also probably one of the reasons he will never be in a sanctified fight. Because they'll immediately test him and go, bro, you have the testosterone of 4 teenagers. What's going on here? Right? Like, unless you have 8 testicles, something is wrong here. So, you know, I don't think Jake Paul would ever be able to get a sanctified fight. But even then, he said to Conor, let's go into the octagon.
Listen, we better
Conor
be careful.
Will murder him.
We better be careful because we're going to be the next ones to be challenged by Jake Paul. Bro, I challenged those guys from the Mythic Banter. They've been talking some shit. I'll fight them both at the same time.
I'll take him in a street fight. Like, let's go, bro. I'll beat you with a pipe. Dude, I'm not a believer in fair fighting. Like, if we're gonna get into a fight, I'm grabbing whatever the hell is close by. I'll reach down, grab that clock thing that they have, that bell thing that they have next to the ring. Bang. I'll beat the shit out of you with that thing. I don't care at all about fair fights. But no, I think Conor would murder him in the octagon. Like, because if they stepped into the octagon, Dana White would want to be involved. And Dana White would not allow them to make a mockery of the octagon. So then Jake Paul would actually have to fight. And Conor will beat the crap out of him. So I actually want that fight to happen. Yeah. Because I think we need to see Conor McGregor beat the crap out of Jake Paul. He'll beat him so hard, the dude will go back to making vlogs, bro.
From a wheelchair.
He'll miss the Japanese fucking forest. That's how bad it would be.
No, dude, that was his brother, dude. That was Logan. Anyway.
Dude, they're both...
I don't know scumbags, yeah. I don't like either.
What does Logan do nowadays, FYI?
I don't know. He scams people with his prime drink. I've actually seen the prime drink in Portugal. I'm like, oh no. If I see any kids in my country drinking that shit, I'm going to have a stern talking to with their parents. It's like you
Dude,
really
I
have your
genuinely
kids
don't know the
drinking.
difference between the two brothers. I have no idea.
Well,
I don't know who's
one's
who.
older, the other one's younger. I mean, Jake Paul
I,
has a beard, I guess.
in terms of their content, I don't know who's who.
Oh
Like
yeah,
you
it's the same thing. It's whatever.
you strap me down and say your life depends on this, and I'd probably die because
Yep.
I have no idea.
Yep.
You could, like I said, I thought he's the guy in the forest, but no, it's the other douchebag that went to the
Yeah.
forest. Well, he'll beat him so bad his brother will go back to the forest. But anyway,
God.
so yes, the fight was rigged. Obviously, it was fake. Anyone that expected it not to be, dude, Mike Tyson is almost 60. There's no way he was going to go into a proper
I still
fight.
had hope that he would go in there and murder Jake Paul. Like that would have been so satisfying to watch. Just like actually just knock him out. Like you know how they get stiff when they get hit like really hard in the chin, just like straight up stiff. I'd love to see him just like bonk.
Dude, there's this video. There's videos. You should check it out on YouTube. There's videos of refs getting knocked out. Dude, it's the funniest shit ever. Like a ref just accidentally being caught by like a stray left, and you just see the arms dropping, everything wrong. It is funny to see people getting knocked out. But anyways, from obviously fake stuff that, you know, hopefully we won't see crap like that again. Or maybe we get a rematch where they actually decide to fight each other. But we have to talk about the apocalypse. It is a developing. I don't want to say it's a big story, even though it is a huge story, but it's developing into a massive story.
I was going to ask you if it affected you personally since you stream on Twitch, but I guess you don't run a lot of ads, right? You rely more on.
Dude, I run the ads that Twitch, like the minimum amount of ads that Twitch is allowed to run.
Okay, so you have like the whole thing where you choose the number of ads and you choose the lowest payout, basically. Okay.
Yeah. I don't like ads.
Have you noticed the difference at all?
I don't check my. I can check it. I don't check my Twitch income ever. I don't know how much money I make on Twitch.
I actually have an issue with the way that YouTube does ads in live streams. And the other day, I actually had a conversation with my partner manager who was trying to convince me to run more ads. And she was like, "Oh, you should turn on the ad automator for your live streams." And I was like, "Yeah, but then people that have memberships still get ads, because on YouTube, even if you have a membership to a channel, you still get ads."
Yeah.
And I wasn't aware of this for the longest time. And then I don't remember if it was this year or last year. At some point, somebody was, I would run an ad when I go to the bathroom. And somebody was telling me, "Oh, I just got an ad." And I noticed, but wait, you have the member badge. How did you get an ad? And he's like, "Oh yeah, everybody gets ads." And I was like, "What the hell, dude? That's ridiculous. How are members getting ads? Like, what is this? What is this absolute nonsense?" I was like, "No,
YouTube.
I'm cutting that off right now. No more ads during live streams." So it's like, I would rather make less money so that people that pay for memberships don't get ads. And because of the people that do pay for memberships on my channel, it means that nobody gets ads on the streams.
YouTube's ad system or subscription system is really bad. Like the whole, even members get ads. It's like, well, what's the point then of becoming a member? The main reason, one of the biggest reasons people sub to me is to get rid of the ads on Twitch because they enjoy the stream and they don't want the ads to interrupt their stream. But on YouTube, it's like, well, unless I have YouTube Premium, I will see ads. Yeah. Now, granted, YouTube Premium isn't that expensive, and it does give you free view on all channels. So it's not even like the Prime thing where you don't even get that anymore on all channels. You do get it everywhere. But I do wonder if YouTube wouldn't incentivize a lot more membership if they decided to instead go the route of, even if it's less ads, so members see like 80% fewer ads in streams.
No, I think,
or maybe just not mid-roll ads.
I think members shouldn't see ads. End of story. Like you
I agree with you.
You can even get like the first ad when you get onto the stream or whatever. I don't really care that much because usually you can skip some of those ads. But like getting mid-roll ads when you're a member, I think, is absolutely a terrible idea. And that's what I told him. I was like, listen, I'll turn on ads when you turn off ads for members. Like, members should never get an ad. Like,
no, I fully agree with you. I'm just thinking in the realm of where we're restricted by the absolute greed of YouTube, right? In that realm, even if they just made it that you will see the first ad, pre-roll ad as you join the stream, but they no mid-roll ads as a member, I'd be like, okay, fine. I can sell that to my community as a plus. The issue is right now with YouTube membership, there's a reason, by the way, guys, we have not turned on memberships on this channel. Because, well, what's the point? You don't gain anything.
You're still gonna get ads.
Yeah, you're still. If it was a case of you become a member of the channel and you don't get ads on the podcast, I would have been like, all right, no problem. Let's go. Let's turn on memberships. But we don't know what to give you as members, at least not at the moment. We do want to do a thing in the future where members maybe get a section of their own, and we answer some member questions during that section. So I think that could be a really cool thing. But outside of that, I don't want to run ads unless I don't want to run memberships unless I absolutely see a point for them. But to answer your question about the ads, last month I made $31 from ads. This month I made $15 from ads. So
you're filthy rich, dude. Like, what the crap?
I'm swimming in cash, bro. I'm swimming in cash. What can I do?
Listen, with last month's paycheck, you can actually go ahead and buy early access to Path of Exile 2 that we're going to be talking about later. So yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Living large.
but
yeah.
All right. We're on to the actual topic here. Adpocalypse is happening. Now, there's been a lot of finger pointing with who is responsible for the adpocalypse. Fundamentally, I want to put some stuff to rest here now. Is Hassan responsible for the Twitch adpocalypse?
No.
Yes. Is Asmongold? I'll explain. Just wait. Yes.
No, but
Asmongold?
Okay, go
yes. Ahead. All of Hassan's posse? Yes. But the responsibility that Hassan, Asmongold, the posse of Hassan have to the actual problem is like 10%. 90% of the problem is Twitch. Because, look, bad people are gonna do bad crap no matter where they go. It is up to Twitch to make sure that the bad people are policed in such a way that advertisers feel safe. And I feel dirty for even saying this because I am a firm believer in free speech. However, I'm also a firm believer in freedom. And I think ads or ad companies should have the freedom to go, you know what? We're not entirely okay advertising on a guy's stream that continuously says 9/11 was deserved, that continuously makes fun of Jews, that continuously celebrates Houthi pirates. We're okay.
The Houthi pirates one was wild. What about the one where you just like put in some like terrorist propaganda video and then just left Nick Paul alone on stream? Imagine being in that situation. You're like in a Hassan streaming room, and Hassan's like, "Let me just go take a piss real quick," and you're on camera, and there's just like terrorist propaganda on screen, and you're just like, "Wait, what the hell? What's going on?"
Dude, what I found funny is Nick sitting there like a pathetic little child, as if he was naughty, just watching this. And it's like, bro, what is happening here? But no, I mean, fundamentally, the biggest problem now, of course, and this is, again, not Hassan's fault entirely. Twitch is bringing this on themselves. It is now in the mainstream. Now, here is where things get bad. Until about a week ago, this was massive news online with communities that are already in the know. So people like me, people like you, our viewers that are already on Twitter, on X, on Twitch, so they know a little bit about this. The advertisers had no idea. most of them could not know anything because most of them don't follow this stuff. But once it hits Fox, once it hits NBC, MSNBC, and specifically once it hits the US Congress, in this article they speak about this, a US congressman has issued a letter to Twitch personally and also is filing a motion to draw up legislation against Twitch and Hassan for the anti-Semitic things that they're saying. And there's a bigger thing here that most people don't even understand. One of the most powerful lobbies in the US is the Jewish lobby. They are ridiculously powerful. There is a reason why every single congressman and every single senator is always pro-Israel. Always. No matter what Israel does, they're always pro-Israel. I'm not making political arguments here. I couldn't give two shits. I don't know anything about that area. But there is a reason for it. There's a lot of money. If this lobby is against you, you're screwed, bro. Like, if this lobby decides enough is enough, Amazon will close down Twitch in order to abide by this lobby, in order to be able to do the job, because Jeff Bezos isn't anti-Israel. Jeff Bezos isn't against Israel.
I would imagine Jeff Bezos is like, I'm for whatever makes me the most money.
And
does it make me money? Okay, that sounds good. That's what I'm for.
Yeah. So Hassan hasn't stopped. And this is where things just get wild. Frogan was just unbanned after 4 weeks. Or unsuspended after 4 weeks. So Frogan is back. That other one is going to be back soon as well. Hassan has still not been banned off of Twitch. But now Twitch is gone and they've banned Dan Can't Stream.
Turns out Twitch is not really big into freedom of speech.
No.
As far as I'm aware, Dan Can't Stream hasn't really broken any rules. He's just been going after Twitch really, really hard. And he's just been criticizing them really, really hard for like their whole anti-Israel thing and whatnot, which, as we discussed in a previous podcast, Palestine was actually also very much affected because of the way that a lot of internet servers or whatever connect to they bounce off through Israel servers, and because they blocked Israel IPs, the Palestinians were also hurt. So in trying to take a side in this conflict, they hurt both sides, which is
but what's wild
thing.
Okay, so Dan Can't Stream is banned, FYI.
Yeah.
And he goes through it here in this massive post. He actually provides a lot of information on why he was banned. And one of the big reasons for his suspension on Twitch is harassment. Harassment of two people. DJ Clancy.
Dan Clancy. Yep, I would expect that.
And Hassan, right? Because they don't name Hassan. They don't name Dan. But those are the only two people he's been harassing. And he hasn't been harassing them as in being just weird and making stuff up. He's been bringing the truth of what these guys are doing to light. Yeah. That's not called harassment. That's called journalism.
Criticism, basically.
Yeah. But then Dan actually speaks about this, and I think a lot of people have not made that connection yet, but people should absolutely make that connection. Asmongold last week said that he is setting up a stream with Dan Can't Stream.
Yeah, we talked
on
about
Twitch.
It.
Yeah, we spoke about it last week, where Dan is going to be able to show the whole world all of the information that he has collected against Twitch, and trust me, there's a lot. There's a lot of information.
Yeah, and Asmon's audience is absolutely massive, so that would definitely disseminate the information.
Oh yeah, 100%. So the funny thing here is that's why they banned him. You see, because in Twitch's TOS, you are not allowed to co-stream with anyone that is banned on Twitch. That is
banned on the platform. Yep.
Yeah. So Twitch has sort of preemptively, because the problem is, Dan in this, by the way, in this topic, I'm not going to play it here because we don't really do we don't play videos. But in this clip, Dan actually says Asmongold is currently under a crap ton of pressure to not have him on the stream.
Of course he is.
And he says the pressure mostly comes from Austin. People in Austin that is pressuring him and saying, don't have Dan on the stream, don't have Dan on the stream.
Oh, so not even like from Twitch people, but like from his other streaming friends is what you're saying. Because like that's like the crew. The crew is all in Austin, all of his streaming friends.
The crew is all in Austin.
They're the ones pressuring him.
And I think they might actually be pressuring him on behalf of Twitch. Twitch knows that Asmongold is a straight shooter.
He's a loose cannon. Asmongold's a loose cannon.
If Twitch sends Asmongold an email and they go, bro, you can't have Dan on your stream, this will do irreparable damage, Asmongold will have that email as the next video, right?
That's like, I don't care.
Let's go.
None of my business.
Asmongold, the thing that makes Asmongold dangerous is he's a man that made more money than he would ever need as a guy that has never cared about money at all. So for Asmongold losing his money on Twitch, like if Twitch banned him tomorrow,
he's not even monetized. Fine. He's not monetized on Twitch. It's like Twitch is just where he streams that, and then his editors get the content from there. That's it. He can do that from anywhere. Like I would imagine his biggest source of revenue is probably YouTube. Probably his only
100%.
Because like his channel is absolutely massive. But that's
the thing. The crap out of his stream. Like there are so many clips on his channel.
Yeah, that's the thing that I feel like some people don't even understand is that he has the Asmongold channel, which is his partner channel. He hasn't streamed on there for how many years? He just streams on his other channel. And I understand why. It's probably an anxiety thing because a lot of times you're like scared of doing something wrong whenever you're monetized or partner. And in his other channel, he's like, it's not monetized. I'll just do whatever the fuck I want. So there's like a mental block that gets removed by doing it that way. But the whole thing is, if I'm Asmongold right now, what I would do is I would just have Dan offline, have the conversation offline, and then ship it off to the editors or whatever, upload it to YouTube, and have a premiere. Boom.
Yeah.
Just straight up, just boom, just like that. Have the conversation offline, upload to YouTube, premiere, bam. There you go.
100%.
Everything is out there, straight up, and there's nothing they can do about it because YouTube doesn't have a dog in this race. Like, Dan Clancy's not going to go up to YouTube and be like, hey, I need you guys to take this video down.
No.
Good luck with that, my guy.
No, from YouTube's perspective, Twitch dying is the best news they could ever get.
If anything, they have incentive to push that video in the algorithm to get more visibility.
Ooh, look at this video. Let's turn that up.
This is a spicy one. Oh no.
Asmongold having 1 billion views on a video. Even people that's never heard of Twitch going, man, that Twitch is wild.
that website's crazy.
Yeah. Fundamentally, it all boils down to Asmongold's a very dangerous character. Twitch can't control him. Not in the same way that they can control people like Hassan or any of the other crew of Asmongold. So I think that there's a lot of pressure on the crew of Asmongold from Twitch's side to get Asmongold to back down. And Asmongold isn't going to back down, even though Dan says he will have no hard feelings if Asmongold backs down. Asmongold seems to... I don't know what happened, bro. I genuinely don't know what happened to Asmongold, but somewhere during the lead up to the last election, and I'm not going to be talking about elections here, but somewhere in the last year, Asmongold went from a pretty apolitical streamer, I almost want to say. Like, very rarely would Asmongold even broach the subject of politics to super political. Like, he is inside this political fight. And I think it's because he also starts to realize that there's an importance here. There are things that's going on at the moment within the political sphere that is killing video games. It's the same reason why I'm in the political thing. I don't give a crap who the president of any country is. I couldn't care less about politics. The problem is, of course, the politics have come to my video games. So now I have to fight the politics. But that's only as soon as the politics leaves my video games alone, I will leave the politics alone as well, gladly, because I get depressed when I think of politics. It just kills my mood, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say on the topic
No.
of why he jumped in. I just figured it would be because it gets a ton of views. Because
Yeah.
if you see, for instance, during the Amber Heard trial and Johnny Depp, that was like
Yeah.
billions of views. He made like so much money
Mhm.
off of those videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's like he just like became a content hound. He's just like, boom, let's go. This is popular. Oh, we're talking about it. Let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
I think it would be I would be remiss if I didn't discuss this. So I was watching this video from Devin Nash, who is actually one of the uh, ad managers at Nova. I think Nova is
Nouveau,
the
I
agency,
think.
or Nuvo, but it's an agency that particularly does this kind of thing. They work with brands to figure out the marketing strategy for those brands. And he basically explained why Twitch's scenario or situation is so much worse than YouTube's. Because for those of you that don't know, YouTube had an adpocalypse sort of
We had
2018, 2019.
we had two of them actually.
Yeah. But
We
the
went through
first one
two
was
apocalypses.
the first one was the big one, right? It was when PewDiePie said the N-word during a stream, and then just so many other things started to come out, like so many bad videos on YouTube. And advertisers went, bro, no. We're not advertising here anymore. YouTube was forced then to spend millions of dollars, building what is today the most advanced labeling system on the internet. Rurikon will know this. When you upload a video to YouTube, it goes through two official checks. The first check makes sure that there's no copyright and no sort of weird things that you're saying that could get your video age restricted. Then you turn on ads and you check that thing, immediately go checking again. And it starts checking the video again. Now it's checking, can ads be played on this video? The AI checks everything, and trust me.
You have your own self check thing where you're supposed to say,
Yeah.
did you say bad words? Does this video have violence? Which it's interesting because in some videos I've actually for gameplay, I start flagging them for violent content because it's I want to make sure. Listen, I'm very honest. Okay, there's some violence that happens in this video game, but it's like violence in a video game. And you put it on the lightest check of violence, and that's still monetizable. But yeah, YouTube will pay close attention to what you are are putting on those videos. I've had a couple of times where YouTube came back and was like, "Hey, actually, we don't agree. We don't agree with your classification of this video, and therefore we're putting you on watch." And then they're way more aggressive for like a period where you have to like really double down on every single thing you upload. It's like, did I curse in this one? I should probably point that out. So you have to like put it.
Dude, I just automatically always put cursing, because I know I may have said shit at some point, so it's just like
I probably did it. I probably did it at some point. Yeah, sounds like
I'm probably guilty, Your Honor.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'll take the time.
I'll do the time.
Yeah, but fundamentally, so YouTube had to spend millions of dollars in order to build the system. It's so advanced now that even if you show something on video, so it's not even something you say, it's something you show, it flags that. It knows exactly what you're showing. The system is also primed based on a tier system. So I'll tell you guys this. On Akalon TV, my channel where I do all of the political discussions, those checks will almost always take half an hour to an hour. Always. No matter what I do, every video I upload will go through half an hour to an hour check. On my main channel,
they are really up your ass with that. Like, my checks don't usually take that long.
On my main channel, the checks are like maybe a minute. Because the main channel is just World of Warcraft lore, right? It doesn't deal with politics at all. There it goes checking, fine. Like literally sometimes it's checking, and by the time I've finished the little self-report message, which on my main channel is usually just swearing and then done, by the time I get to the next screen, it's already okayed and I can go. So the system literally understands, wait, this guy has a history of uploading some problematic content for advertisers. And a lot of people misunderstand YouTube's approach here. YouTube isn't trying to silence you. YouTube is just trying to avoid a massive adpocalypse.
Yeah, they're trying to make sure that the advertisers that do not want to be on videos that curse too much, that their ads don't get placed on there, and that's why they're doing it like that. Even though a couple of years ago, I don't know if it was last year. No, it was probably like 2 years ago, I think. There was actually something where through AdSense, I don't think it was YouTube, but AdSense is also for websites and stuff like that. And there was one thing where Google was actually just placing ads anywhere. So people that wanted targeted ads, they were getting like their ads on porn websites and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And that was like a whole big thing that Google caught some more flack. I don't know how accurate their ads targeting system is today. I know that they have the technology to make it very accurate, but because of the way that ads work, and if you get like a backlog of ads, because they'll people will buy like, oh, I want a million impressions of ads or something like that. Sometimes you can get to a point where YouTube's like, oh man, we have over 1 million ads to place, and we don't have that many places to place them. I guess
for everyone.
I guess that Akalon channel that's got the dubious shit. I guess we're placing some ads there. I think sometimes it goes like that too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it definitely works that way. But Devin Ash makes a very good point. Remember, he works in the industry, so he has all of the data from the back end of YouTube. So YouTube is the best place to run ads in the entire industry. The return on ad spend is 2 to 1. For every $1 you spend, you make $2 back in profit on ads for YouTube. They don't know what it is on Twitch because Twitch doesn't have the tools to track this stuff. So they have no idea. But according to him, their own internal views is nowhere close. In fact, they say Twitch is the worst to advertise on for a couple of reasons. The first is the audience that is predominantly on Twitch are way too young, so they're not buying anything. Unless you're like a video game publisher, your ads do not really work on Twitch. Not only that, but Twitch has zero tools to target ads. That's why people will just get all sorts of random ads on Twitch. Now, I say this because, according to Devin Ash, all Twitch advertising at the moment is done through the experimental budget of ad spend. Excuse me. So he explains it like this. A company will come to them and say, look, we have a $5 million budget for ads. 4.5 million we want on legacy. That will be billboards, YouTube, whatever, and there'll be a breakdown of that. With YouTube usually getting the bulk amount of ads. Then they go, but this 500,000, let's do experimental. So this is where they spend money on like crap that they don't know if it could work, but maybe it can. So let's see how it works. Twitch is that. No
Twitch
one
is just
spends
getting the experimental part of the budget. Basically.
Yeah. Because no one knows whether Twitch is good. Twitch doesn't have tools for them to track whether or not it's good, right? So they have no idea how their ads are performing. So they just do it with experimental. And he said that's the easiest to cancel. The problem with YouTube is if YouTube went through another adpocalypse today, he says advertisers would be thinking hard about whether or not they actually want to suspend their ads on YouTube. Because YouTube is such a profitable place to advertise on. On Twitch, the second the advertisers go, wait, this platform is a bit problematic, they just go, I'll cancel ads. Because it's not even the serious ad money that we're spending there.
Yeah.
So I say all of this because it's important. If Twitch wants to become a safe place for advertisers, they're going to have to spend millions of dollars to develop the tools that YouTube have already developed back in 2017, 2018.
And it's important.
But the incentive isn't there for Twitch to do it because advertisers don't really care about advertising on Twitch.
And the important thing for people to understand, because I know that some people will be like, well, I mean, who cares? We can just support Twitch through subscriptions. And it's like, no, you will be able to support a content creator on Twitch through subscriptions potentially.
Yeah.
But the whole platform, no. Especially because Asmongold is eating up so much bandwidth and making them like not that much money because his secondary channel's not partnered. And and there's like thousands upon thousands of people. Like you can just see that there was even the situation in South Korea. Was it 2 years ago? I think where they were just like, "Yep, sorry, not viable, can't do it.
Yeah,
we're pulling out." They pulled out of South Korea. And it's just a very rough platform to run at this point because of the way that they've allowed it to proliferate and continue down the path that it has. So they're going to continue having problems maintaining that platform, I feel.
Yeah, I personally predict that Twitch will probably be dead within the next 2 or 3 years because I don't see Amazon going, okay, spend your $100, $200, $300 million to build out a content labeling system that can automate this stuff. First and foremost, it's going to have to be as advanced as YouTube's is now from the beginning. Because remember, for a long time during YouTube's content labeling system, they couldn't really label live streams. Nowadays, they can. You do anything on a live stream that is even remotely problematic, they warn you within seconds. So if you're watching something that's copyrighted, YouTube will just set up a warning on your stream page. Bro, you're doing now, stop.
No. You don't even understand. Like I actually had this happen in real time and I wasn't even doing anything wrong. Certain content, if it gets flagged, they will straight up black out your stream in real time. And this is something that happened in 2017. Because it was Legend of Zelda. Yeah, Legend of Zelda, my first stream of Legend of Zelda. And by the way, it's not like I was doing anything wrong. I even had a review code from Nintendo for Legend of Zelda. So I was streaming Legend of Zelda, and there's a cutscene in there at the beginning where whenever you talk to King, whatever his face, dude gives you a paraglider. During that cutscene, people start like spamming my chats like F, like what they do on Twitch whenever your stream goes to shit. And I was like, what's going on? And people are like, we can't see anything. And I was like, can you hear me? And they're like, yeah, we can hear you. So I go to the stream page and there's just literally a black page that says content blocked. And this was in real time in 2017, okay? 7 years ago, they had the technology to block your streams in real time.
But so, it might have been that you were part of the experimental because you're obviously a larger content creator. Because I could do that for a long time. I could stream whatever I wanted. And then usually like a couple of days later, it'll figure out, wait, this stream isn't good.
No,
and then they'll block it or they'll do something.
I think it was something that they were doing specifically during that year, and I don't think they've done it since. I think usually now they go after the stream goes live, then they'll go and start blocking it. But just be aware that they have the technology to detect in real time if you are playing copyright stuff, because that absolutely happened to me 7 years ago.
Yeah. Well, the point is Twitch will have to have that technology right from the get-go. And that shit isn't cheap. It really isn't cheap to develop.
Like, do you remember when Rich you remember what's his other name? Rich Campbell? Do you remember when he was doing his streamathon and he suddenly just leaves Lord of the Rings running and goes to sleep? It's like a bunch of people watching his stream, watching Lord of the Rings. And it's like, what exactly do you expect? And I don't even think they took any action against him. They're like, it's fine. It's like, that's whatever.
Let's just go. But I mean, that's what, and I don't see Amazon doing it. I don't see Amazon being, look, Twitch is already not making Amazon any money. Now Amazon has to go and spend another $200, $300, $400 million. in order to build a content labeling system for a platform that advertisers already don't really want to advertise on. Twitch is too late. What Twitch should have done, and I said this all the way back in 2018, 2019, Twitch should have gone for VOD content. VOD content is the worst experience on Twitch, and yet it is a literal goldmine. What I would do if I was Twitch is I would develop the content, but this would have happened 5 years ago. I would have developed the content label, right? And then I would have developed an AI that can track chat's responses to things that happen in the stream, as well as track the stream.
Yeah, to get
and
like
clip,
highlight moments. Yep.
Yeah, clip those highlight moments and just automate the entire thing.
Because
after the stream,
that would add the one thing that I think is the biggest weak point on Twitch, which is discoverability. Because I keep telling people, I know a lot of people that want to become like streamers. And so what they're doing is they're just going into Twitch and they're putting in the hours. And I'm like, it's never going to happen, bro. If you're just jumping on the Twitch just to stream, it is never going to happen. Whenever people, whenever people ask me, oh, I want to get started, blah, 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 I was like, all right, so here's what you got to do. You got to either make content on X, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Like pick 2 or 3 of those and make content there. And you have to look at streaming not as your job, but as like your free time. It's like, oh, I have some free time. I guess I got to go to stream now. It's almost like a reward. It's almost a dessert after you've had your vegetables, okay?
Yeah.
The actual work is working on discoverability, making videos on TikTok, making videos on YouTube and any of these other platforms. And that is how you get discovered, because just putting in hours on Twitch is like the chances of you making it that way, astronomical. Okay. You're talking like numbers that good luck, bro. Good luck.
Most people will never make it.
You might as well play the lottery. It's about the same odds.
Basically, the only people that tend to make it that way are very cute girls that Twitch staff notice. I know a couple of girls exactly like this, just FYI. That's how I can say it. There's a couple of girls that managed to make it very big because they were streaming every day. Twitch staff noticed, and Twitch staff went.
There's also another page. There's also another way, which is if you know a big streamer and you're able to integrate with their audience, then you can kind of like grow from.
Yeah, but that's networking, right? So that's still you. You're not making content on other platforms, but you are networking.
You're networking, but networking is way, way harder because most people are like, no, I don't want to. What do you mean? Give you content for free? No.
Yeah.
I need to get something out of this. Like, so.
Yes. I mean, I'm not a fan of networking, quite frankly.
This would never exist without networking. What do you mean?
No, but I don't view this as networking. Because, yes, you and I met, but then we became friends.
Yeah.
Right? I don't work with anyone else on Twitch or YouTube. Unless I'm friends with you, I don't want to make content with you. Like, why would I do that? I don't see the point. Yeah, but it's like
you have to reach out in order to potentially, because like, again, we started doing stuff together because I reached out because I was like, hey, let's do a podcast and we'll talk about World of Warcraft and other topics and shit like that. But we didn't know each other. It could have easily not worked out, but yeah.
Yeah, but from my own perspective, I tend to not reach out to anyone ever.
See, but
I don't even raid people, right? I don't even raid people on Twitch. I just end my stream, go, peace out, boys, and then I leave, and they can go watch whoever the hell they want. I don't even raid. I don't talk to people on Twitch.
You're an antisocial,
I just do my own thing.
Antisocial caterpillar, which is the opposite of a social butterfly.
Yeah, but there is a reason for that. I don't trust most people. I've seen what content creators are like. Most content creators are literally just in it for themselves. They will sell you out in a minute if it gets them ahead. You saw it during Asmongold's thing. When Asmongold got banned, how many of Asmongold's friends said nothing?
Oh,
just completely kept quiet.
I think that might be more of a a Twitch culture thing almost, I feel like, because
Yeah.
you know, the most of the content creators that I've spoken with, they're usually super chill. But then again, it's also about choosing who you
Yeah.
approach. Of course, because I'm not going to just approach everyone. I'll have to have seen their content before, see what their stuff is like, and then I will be like, hey, this would be cool to collab with this
I
person.
think the reason this is far worse on Twitch is Twitch
It's
literally.
a kingmaker system.
Yeah, it's a kingmaker system, but it is also a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
Right? Where YouTube is not a zero-sum game. So me and Rurikon sitting here, right? Basically, Rurikon gains maybe some viewers from me. I gain some viewers from him. But ultimately, people still have time to watch all of Rurikon's videos and all of mine videos in a day. It doesn't matter.
No, they don't.
Streams is different.
I stream way too much for them to watch everything.
But if you stream, you can either watch my stream or you can watch Rurikon's stream. You can't watch both. So on Twitch, people are very aware of that.
I mean, you say that. I've seen some people do it. I've seen some people make it work.
No, you can. I mean, I have a couple of people in my stream. I won't go into names here, but I have people in my stream who, when a certain person that I do not get along with streams, they will be in their stream as well as in my stream, and then they will be like, no, they'll be in both, and they'll be like, bro, he just said this about you. Or he just said that about you.
You
or he
have
just did
that rivalry with somebody.
Yeah, like they're trying to start stuff. Now it sort of died out because I stopped giving him any sort of oxygen. I just started wearing, dude, I don't care.
Oh,
the dude's a moron. I don't care.
That's funny.
But fundamentally, I've had that before. But most of the time, Twitch is a zero-sum game, and so it's always going to be a backstabbing world, and I just don't have time for that. Fundamentally, to get back to the topic at hand, I see Twitch dying in the very near future.
I don't agree that it's going to die, because I at this point I see Twitch kind of like as a cockroach that keeps just like getting involved in all of these problems and all of these situations, but somehow they always make it out. So they're like a cockroach, dude. They're gonna survive the fucking nuclear apocalypse. Just like I don't know.
Make it out. They make it out because fundamentally, Twitch has always been for Amazon the potential YouTube Cinderella story.
Yeah.
Because YouTube was a Cinderella story. Alphabet and Google had no idea how big YouTube was going to be. And in the first the first decade and a half of YouTube's existence, I believe the very first year that YouTube posted not profits, just breaking equal, was 2016, I think, where they broke even. So they didn't lose money, at least. They didn't make, but then now they're making billions of dollars. YouTube is very good. Twitch isn't there. Twitch is still losing Amazon money. In fact, Twitch is making less money today than what they've made in the past. So from Amazon's perspective, how long is Amazon willing to keep picking up the check? And then, more specifically, the check that is going to be that Amazon is going to be forced to write within the next few months is going to be a big one, right? It's not going to be another $100 million for operating costs. It's going to be the operating costs and then another 300, 400, 500 million in order to build a content system, a content identification system. I don't see Amazon being willing to do that, especially considering the fact that Kick exists. Now, for those of you that aren't aware, Kick is built on Amazon infrastructure.
And Kick doesn't have to make money because they make all their money through gambling. So they don't care. Now, it's important that you understand the reason Amazon doesn't care that Kick runs on their platform is because, well, Amazon still makes money. Yep.
So from Amazon's perspective, either we can have Twitch that loses us money because we have to keep bailing them out, or we can close Twitch, everyone goes to Kick, and we make more money in the process without having to spend anything. It's a no-brainer from a business perspective.
We'll see.
And the big reason I think Twitch is dying, and then we can move on, Prime. you can see from the moves that Amazon is making around Prime, they hate Twitch Prime. Because the idea from Twitch Prime was always to try and get people into Amazon Prime. Because that's where they want to make their money. The issue is, and Devin Nash has spoken about this, and he obviously has some inside information there, Twitch Prime isn't translating to Amazon Prime. They don't see people upgrading to Amazon Prime from Twitch Prime. And so Twitch Prime at the moment literally just loses their money. They don't gain anything from Twitch Prime. So if Twitch Prime goes, that's the death of Twitch. Like, guaranteed. Because right now, Kick is offering a 90-10 split on subscriptions. Kick is offering that. Twitch doesn't offer that. Twitch offers Prime, which, if you speak to most Twitch streamers, the big ones, all of them say the one thing that stops them from ever going to YouTube is there is no Prime.
Yeah.
Because Prime is the biggest driver of revenue. So many people sub with Prime subs. You remove Prime subs, and almost every streamer probably loses 60, 70, 80% of all their subscription money overnight. That's massive. That is huge. If YouTube actually wants to throw their hat in the ring for the streamer battle, they take YouTube Premium and they attach a membership to it. Like, if they take YouTube Premium and they attach a $5 membership to it, YouTube Premium suddenly...
that would probably crush them like a bug.
Yeah.
But I think YouTube might be a little bit too greedy, because they're like, we don't have to do it.
Well, they would also have to increase the price of YouTube Premium, because right now YouTube Premium is very cheap.
They've already increased it once, I think. I don't know how much it is at right now. I do have it, but I don't know how much.
I pay something like maybe 60 Rand a month for YouTube Premium, and it's, I think that's like $3 or $4, not even.
I think I pay like €10, give or take, most likely. But you got good regional pricing. Yeah,
South Africa has brilliant regional pricing.
Yeah, I pay about €10 for it, but it's worth it for me because of the amount of time I listen to it on my car. And you can't have background playing.
Oh yeah, I'm also. Yeah. I think the best money I've ever spent is YouTube Premium. Like, hands down, it's great.
The amount of
music,
content,
YouTube,
the amount of content that I watch is insane.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But this is not sponsored by YouTube Premium.
Yes,
just want to point that out.
But
we just like YouTube Premium.
But we are open to the possibility.
Yeah. Like, YouTube, you want to sponsor us with YouTube Premium? We'll happily.
YouTube's
we'll take that sponsorship.
Y'all are crazy. You guys make this show, talk about drama for 1 hour, call it a gaming discussion. No thanks.
Well, we're almost done. We're almost done with the drama discussions. There's one more discussion. Now, we're not going to have a lot to say about this, but we have to mention it because people will almost certainly go, wait, what? Okay, so there's some drama again with OTK. I read the comments on this post, and someone there literally tagged OTK and said, so is SA like a requirement to join OTK?
Bro.
Don't want to make light of the situation. The only reason we're able to laugh about it right now is because there's a lot of conflicting stories here. So Pink or Pink Chio, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Tectone's ex-girlfriend. Let's call her that.
Tectone's ex-girlfriend.
There you go.
Came out with a pretty damning, I guess, allegation against Tectone for stuff that he did during their relationship, where he forced her to do some sexual stuff and he would constantly berate and belittle her. Now, what bothers me about this is the timing. Why come up with it now? How long ago did this breakup happen? I have none of this information. No one seems to really know, but that does seem to be...
It's like the biggest problem with timing is that, we always say, friggin' do it when it happens, right? But the problem is, psychologically, people aren't always ready to confront their demons when they happen. Unfortunately, that's just a human condition. which really sucks because it makes it so that whenever somebody does something like this later, you have to question it. It's like, was there some ulterior motives as to why you're doing this? Is it actually, did something bad actually happen? And it fucking sucks because there's no easy answer. People always like saying, like, you should always believe the victim. But the problem with that is that we've had plenty of victims that have put people in jail for tens of years and somehow nothing happened. And people are okay accepting that this is something that might happen. But I'll tell you who isn't okay, the people who are in jail for tens of years because you only live once, and wasting like even a decade of that life in prison for something that you didn't do really friggin' sucks. So there's no easy answer to when something like this happens, unless you have evidence.
Yeah, during that whole Me Too movement, when people were saying #BelieveAllWomen, I maintain, and I maintained it then, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And the reason for it is, are women not human? Last time I checked, humans lie a lot. So #BelieveAllHumans would probably make a lot more sense and would explain why it's so stupid. I don't believe in just believing people because they say things. But if it's true, then I believe in the maximum punishment imaginable.
Absolutely.
If it is true, I have no time for SA or the worst, the one that's even worse than that. I have no time for that because, and this might be a very hot take, but I actually find those things to be worse than murder. And here's why.
Yeah.
In murder, the person that you did it to doesn't have to live with the consequences of the stuff that you've done. Whereas the other person has to live with it. So I'm actually, when we're talking about stuff like the final penalty, I don't want to say like words that could get us demonetized. But I would actually be okay with that being applied to that.
Absolutely.
If we know for a fact, because that's just the most disgusting stuff to me ever.
Absolutely. And but the thing is, just to harp on one of the things that you said, when people say believe all women, the main reason behind that is because whenever it comes to sexual exploitation and that type of stuff, historically speaking, women have been on the receiving end of it more so than men, I feel like.
Yeah.
And so that is where that comes from. So I kind of understand the sentiment, but at the end of the day, to me, the most important thing is always, we need to look at what is true. And I don't know what the situation is with Tectone. I don't know what the situation is with his ex-girlfriend, all of that stuff. I don't know. And
well, Tectone. Sorry.
I was going to say, like, as someone who's been in a relationship for, I don't even know. How long
since
have I been?
Since the beginning of time.
No, not since the beginning of time, but I've been married for more than 10 years now. And
wow, congratulations.
I actually, Jesus Christ. Thinking about it, I've been in a relationship probably for 24 years now. No, not 24, because when I started dating her, I was 19. So 23. I've been in a relationship for 23 years. And in those 23 years, I managed never to force my girlfriend, now wife, to do something that she didn't want it to do. I don't think it's a particularly hard thing to do.
No, it obviously isn't. Being a normal person isn't hard.
It's like, okay, I don't understand this. There's always this thing that happens that, you end up hearing stories where, he forced me to do this. It's like, it's so easy not to force your significant other not to do things that they don't want to do, that I don't understand why people keep forcing themselves onto other people this.
I will say, I agree with everything you just said there, except when it comes to the timing of things. You see, I'm not okay with anything that this girl did here. And here's why. If even half of the stuff that she accuses him of is true, that is a criminal offense. What should be happening here is you should go to a lawyer, you should go to the police, and you should get an actual case filed. You should not be publicly trialing this person. Because to me, what is disgusting about this, she provides zero evidence in this post whatsoever of anything. She just makes a bunch of accusations. You go through the comments, Every single one of these comments is, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you. I hope he gets what he deserves." So all of these people have already they've already decided.
Yeah, it's the court of
he
public
is.
opinion.
Yeah, I personally think we should have actual punishment for people that take their crimes into the court of public opinion. In most legal proceedings, you will be forced by the judge not to discuss it before the trial is over, insofar as not to poison the jury pool, not to poison the public, because the public opinion is so easily swayed. Look, people hear girls complain about this stuff, and your immediate reaction is to feel sorry for her. It is to feel like this guy needs to get what he deserves. But that's not fair, because you've provided no evidence. You've not done anything to convince me of his guilt. And especially when I listened to this video, and the reason I highlighted this video, when you listen to this from Takedown basically says, in her own words, she told him no one has ever been there for her more than he was during the worst times of her life. And what he claims is happening is there's a bunch of people that he has an NDA forced against him, so he can't even name them, that is currently whispering in her ear and telling her things that never actually happened. They're spinning things that never happened into stuff that she now believes has actually happened, because he claims none of the stuff that she claimed actually happened, ever. Which isn't impossible. I just want to be clear. Manipulation, and specifically the power of suggestion, is actually more powerful than what people think. Yesterday I made an entire video about bias and groupthink and how people fall under the power of that stuff. And manipulation is actually far more powerful than people think. Like, you can actually get people to believe that they were SH, even if they were never, right? Like, something will happen. They'll tell their friend, "Oh yeah, we were sort of fighting, and then we had makeup sex." And the friend will be able, if the friend dislikes the boyfriend, the friend can twist that into actual SA.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't, right? It was actual makeup sex. They can twist it into that, and they can make you believe that that's exactly what happened. So right now, we genuinely don't know what the story is, and that's why I'm not saying I believe Tectone. I'm not saying I believe this Pinky girl. I don't know who to believe. I just know that is the current.
Yeah, I don't know.
The current stance on things.
I don't really see the need to take a side in a situation like this. I do agree with you that at the very least the authorities should have gotten involved if this is something that is a serious thing. The problem is I don't know how the authorities can get involved in a situation like this, because again, I've never been involved in anything like it. I have no idea, but I don't know if there's is there even a statute of limitations for stuff like this? I don't know how it works, but
there is a statute of limitations on just about every crime, even on murder. There's a statute of limitations, I think. I don't know. Actually, it might actually not be.
But
there might be some crimes that don't have a statute of limitations.
We don't know the law, so she could be saying these things because maybe if she goes to the police, nothing happens. But I still think that official action needs to be taken if you truly believe, no, I was sexually assaulted. Okay, then we should address this in a legal manner to make sure that the person that sexually abused you gets exactly what he deserves.
You see,
whether that is the case or not, because we don't.
What I don't have a problem with. What I don't have a problem with is if you go to the police and nothing comes of it, right? And now you go public.
Then you go public,
and you show the police report. You show why the police ultimately did nothing.
I went to the police. I did the thing. Nothing happened. So here's what happened. And now I'm saying
here's what happened. Here's all of the receipts. Here's all of the evidence.
I do think that the police should be the first step.
Yeah, because I want... If
we want the people that do bad shit to get punished, to actually fucking go to jail.
Exactly. In this example.
Where they can go meet Tyrone and get their asshole resized about yay big. Okay? That's what happens.
I want to say, I'm not going to use Tectone here, but let's go the rich scenario way back when, right? Someone like Rich, shouldn't be allowed to do what he did to other girls. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Right? His guilt has all but been proven at this point, especially considering the people who knew him best, basically after he gave them his side of the story, went, "You're out, bro. Like, leave." People like that should not be allowed to do what they do to other people. Doing it in public, in the court of public opinion, isn't, and also doing it on Twitter. While Twitter has a lot of people on it, it's not everyone. There are people who don't know. That's why you have to go to the police and you have to let the police handle this so that that person can officially be labeled as a very problematic person, if indeed they are guilty.
Yeah.
But off of very depressing conversations and onto very good conversations. Now, Rurikon, I know this is a game that you've been looking forward to personally.
I've been waiting for it to release on Steam, bro.
Yeah, you told me that you're going to be playing this non-stop.
1,000,000%, bro.
24 hours a day.
I am so
favorite
ready.
Company. In fact, I have it on good authority that the only reason Rurikon is able to do what he does is because they pay him monthly to do it.
Wait, I need to figure this out. Do they have the different versions on here?
Just check. I don't think so.
Yep, there's the standard edition, there's the gold edition, and then there's the ultimate edition. So wait, why would I buy the gold edition if there's no longer early access? Oh, but wait, there's also the season pass at $39. There's the ultimate pack at $19. Dude, there's like a bunch of microtransactions. There's the wild card DLC. Holy crap, bro. Let's go. Yeah. So, hey, and it's discounted too. It's got a 25% discount on it.
Now,
Jump in now.
I am so happy to announce to you, Rurikon, that the game is doing brilliantly. Guys, we're talking about Star Wars Outlaws, by the way.
They're doing numbers?
They're doing amazingly well. Like, just look at that.
You'll love to see it.
That is beautiful.
Are those the current? Are those updated like in real time?
They should be. There you go.
Oh my God, that is. Oh yes, 617 players. Oh man,
that is great success. Great success for their Steam launch.
It's like, I love it when companies they release on Steam late or they release on PC late or whatever. And then they start saying like, see, it didn't make that much impact. And it's like, yeah, guess what? Steam players, Steam gamers are some of the most patient gamers in the world. They're like, bro, we have backlogs the size of like, what's a really big state in the U.S.? Is Kentucky big? Because I always hear
Texas is huge.
We have backlogs the size of Texas, okay? We have nothing but time. We can wait until that you made us wait. Because like the thing on Steam is, listen, you make a Steam player wait and they'll be like, well, you made me wait for 3 months. I can wait another 3 years. It's like,
I will wait until this game goes on 95% discount.
The thing is, people don't understand the power of hype, of day one hype is not something that holds. So it's like everybody wants to play the game day one because that is when the cultural, the social conversations are happening. All of this stuff is happening on day one. The moment you cut them off from that day one experience, they're like, okay, I can play this game 10 years from now.
Yeah. I'll play it when I'm in the mood for it again.
And I can't fathom how companies still can't understand this, but that's literally how it goes in the minds of most gamers. And people in comment sections, feel free to correct me, but that's pretty much the way that it goes. It's like, oh, you didn't give it to me on day one? If you give it to them, like say on the first week, you might still get them. So it's like, okay, I still got it on the first week, so that's fine. You don't give them the day one experience in that first week, people are going to go like, well, you didn't give it to me now. Now I'm going to wait until your game is like $5. And if that's 10 years from now, that's fine. I have a backlog the size of Texas, so it's not a problem. Then they have games to play, tons of games to play. Mm-hmm. So,
What will happen? So just for our audio listeners, so Star Wars Outlaws launched to an all-time peak of 834 players. And it is currently sitting at 617 players.
Isn't that less than Concord?
Yeah. Concord managed to do better than that.
Holy shit! Oh no, Ubisoft! No, I'm so sad.
You see, the thing is, and for those in the comment section, because there's bound to be people who say, "Oh yeah, but that's just FOMO gamer brain nonsense." No, it's not.
No.
The fact of the matter is, when a game is hyped and everyone is looking forward to getting that game,
nobody likes being second choice. Nobody likes being the second choice. And in the case of Steam specifically, because Steam has trained people to wait for discounts, like the moment they're not a first class citizen, they're like, all right, I can wait. And I really need publishers to understand that, because a lot of publishers, they still don't get it. They think that like, oh, I'm going to take like some exclusive deal with Epic and then I'll release on Steam and it'll be fine. It's not going to be fine. I promise you it's not. That's not the way that it works. Same thing. I'm going to take an exclusive deal with and the exclusive deal with PlayStation has actually already been proven, because if you go and you look at I don't know what it is actually like. Let me see. Steam charts Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked this up? I'm
no.
actually curious. I've never looked this up. I'm going to look it up right now. Wait, not Final Fantasy VII. It's the remake. The only one that released on PC was Remake Integrate. All-time peak, 13,000 players. Do you think that accurately represents the amount of people that were dying to play the Final Fantasy VII Remake? No. Because your game's never going to reach those peaks again because of the fact that you decided not to, give them the day one experience. Another one, a lot of people made fun of Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16, by the way, amazing game. Cannot recommend it enough. Super awesome game. Let's see, all-time peak, 27,000. Do you think that accurately represents the amount of people that are excited for Final Fantasy 16? And then Square Enix comes out and says like, oh, this game actually didn't perform as well as we expected. Well, no shit. You didn't give people the experience day one. Guess what's going to happen? Like, this is something that gets proven time and time again. Like, time and time again. And people do not learn. They do not learn. And so, basically, until publishers learn that, like, look, if you're going to take guaranteed money from somebody, you're going to miss out on the amount of sales that you're going to be getting on PC. It's always going to happen. Not even just on PC, but you're going to miss out on the amount of sales you're going to get on Steam specifically, which is the main PC platform.
And actually, what we're discussing here is specifically missing out on selling your game at the maximum price. Because you look at Red Dead Redemption 2, for example, massively hyped, was an exclusive. Its all-time peak, 77,000. Now you can say, but Akalon, isn't that good?
It wasn't like a platform, it wasn't a platform exclusive, to make things clear. It was a console exclusive. So it was available on PlayStation and Xbox at the same time, but it didn't release on PC. Rockstar games never release on PC day one for some reason.
But the thing is, it hurts your ability to make that initial massive sale.
Absolutely.
That then pushes even more people to buy it. Because yes, human beings follow. We're herd animals.
I mean, so look at Twitch. If somebody is on Twitch and they have like 2,000 viewers, it is way more likely that somebody is going to watch the person with 2,000 viewers than somebody who just booted up their stream at 200 viewers. It's just that simple. Yeah. People will flock to the 2,000 viewers stream because it's just the natural thing to do.
It's human nature. Yeah. And so while Red Dead Redemption definitely sold incredibly well, and it did do very, very well on PC, it wouldn't have done that well when they needed it, which was the day that it launched. Because by the time it launches, the massive hype is already gone.
Yeah,
that hype is not
like
coming.
I saw the numbers on your screen there, which is like
77,031
concurrents. Yeah, and it's like if you had released it day one, easily 10x that. easily.
Oh yeah,
And it's not,
100%.
and people will be like, oh, you're exaggerating. Nope, I'm 100% sure, easily 10x that number. 700,000 people on Red Dead Redemption 2. Hell, it might have even been double that.
Yeah,
700,000.
could easily.
I would say it's
Millie, easier Millie.
no. What I mean is, it's a conservative estimate for
Yeah.
what the numbers on Red Dead Redemption 2
I would
could
I
have
would
been on the
literally go
platform.
easier Millie.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption, by everyone that has ever played it, is
yeah.
widely considered to be the best open world game ever made.
But
right?
anyway,
So
taking
you
this-
are shooting yourself in the foot every single time you do this. Every time you do this. And I mean, Star Wars Outlaws have far bigger problems than just that. It's a game that
But
even at its original launch didn't have that much hype. And you just made it worse because
Yep.
the audience that would have at least got you, like even Dragon Age The Veilguard, managed to at least sell 1 million copies.
Yep.
I would be surprised if Star Wars Outlaws even gets there. Now, where they will win some is during the summer sale, Steam summer sale, once that comes up, or even the Steam winter sale once that starts.
Do they not have a Black Friday sale? I need to pick up some stuff.
Now, they'll probably do some Black Friday. I'm going to buy a bunch of games on Black Friday
You
sale.
better buy No Man's Sky, bruh. That's
I have
what you
No
better
Man's
buy.
Sky.
Okay, good. Then you better play.
Yeah, I have No Man's Sky. But I'm going to be buying a bunch of games because my backlog isn't big enough. Like, it's already going to take me years to finish the games that I have, but I want more. So we'll do that. Dude, I've gotten to the point now with my Steam library where I need to use the search function in order to find games. Like, I want to play a game, I have to search because it's just too much to scroll through. But I want more. So we'll buy on Black Friday. We'll buy a bunch of other games. But they'll get some, but at that point you're selling at a discount so large that you're not even making money, right? You're not even getting anyone in. And usually the games that go on those massive sales are games that have already made all of their money. So at that point, you take there's companies that do this all the time. CD Projekt Red is a company that loves doing this, where The Witcher 3 is pretty much always on sale. And the reason it's always on sale is they already made all of the development money plus profits off of that game. So even if they sell The Witcher 3 for like $30 or $25, that's profit. That's 100% their profits. Star Wars Outlaws isn't going to do that. They're not going to be able to do that. And it's well deserved. I'm glad that this happened to them.
Yeah, it's well deserved, not just because of the fact that they completely fumbled that game in a myriad of different ways, but also because of Ubisoft's business practices. So I'm actually happy.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? Get bent. I don't care. And
I think gamers have had enough.
The interesting thing is that there's a lot of people that may be upset about this, but ultimately this is the reason why Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to end up being a better game, and why Ubisoft is moving away from these disgusting business practices, which, by the way, they've acknowledged are disgusting business practices, but they still didn't change them for Star Wars Outlaws. They're like, yeah, but we're still gonna get some money out of this one. We're gonna fleece them Star Wars fans.
I mean,
get bent, Ubisoft.
But in this, we have to include obviously the DI politics for Assassin's Creed and the stuff that happened with Star Wars Outlaws. And there's a bit of good news there for anyone that on the side of the platform that falls more on my side of this, where I don't want any of this DI stuff. Investors are finally starting to, and I did a video yesterday talking about this. You have investors now saying including DI into any business is now a liability. So people have had enough.
I just think the biggest problem with this whole situation is the interpretation that people now have of DI, where you see a black character and there's a bunch of people like we talked about, your brother or whatever it was. They see a black character or they see a female lead, and it's just like the forceful inclusion that they've been going for has radicalized people to a point that is just like an instant galvanization that it's a culture
Yeah.
war. And the thing is, you get it from both sides. So there's the people that are firmly on the anti-DEI, which will attack anything where it's like, oh, like for instance, Ghost of Yote, that's like gotten crap, obviously. But then there's also the opposite end of the spectrum, which is like people that are on the other field that want more representation and inclusion. They will firmly defend stuff even if it doesn't warrant defending, which in my opinion is the case in Veilguard, because I've been playing Veilguard, like I told you, I'm currently 50 hours into the game.
Yeah.
And I think there's a ton of problems in Veilguard. But one of the things that I found interesting is that I recently received a comment because I was asking people, hey, should I make a video about this? Do you even care? Because I'm so late to the conversation. And most people don't actually care. I think that the vote was like at a 60-40 rate. The last time I talked about, I saw it, and it was 60 people wanted me to do a video. I don't know if I will end up making a video on it or not. But one of the interesting comments that I saw on there was somebody who expressed that they are queer and that they can't even talk to this game with their friends because they don't like it. They don't like the type of representation that this game brings, but they can't even talk about it because people are so culture war focused that we can't even have the conversation anymore. So I
it's
think
that group think it's the in-group, out-group dynamic.
This created a massive shift to the point where a lot of people, like for instance, you aren't even willing to entertain trying to play the game because you don't want to deal with like what DI stuff might be on there. I've played the game. I haven't seen that much of it yet. But the few that I did see instantly took me out of the experience. It was terrible. Like when I first met Tosh, I was like, why is this character just so incredibly insufferable when compared to all the other characters? Not to mention the introduction. Like every character, because I think I've met every character in the game at this point. And every character gets introduced in a fairly tame way. You get to them, you talk to them and whatnot, and then, let's go do a quest together, get to know each other. And it is very much the dialogue, like the whole thing that Skill Upset, it's like HR is in the room. That's the whole game. The dialogue for the whole game is exactly like that. It's really bad. But the point that I'm making is every character gets introduced in a super tame way, and they eventually, okay, so here's what you get about. You know how Tosh gets introduced? She's literally in like a 4v1 fight, beating the shit out of everybody. Just like straight up, I'm a badass, killing everybody. Boom, 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 boom. And you're just like, whoa, what the hell? This is a different character introduction. So she straight up gets the Mary Sue treatment from the get-go. She is the chosen one, the special one. And the thing I feel that also is very weird with Tosh is the way she talks, which was when at one point my character makes an observation. It's like, oh, but you wear the ropes because there's the ropes of the Kyun and whatnot. And those are like a symbol for the Kunari, I guess. And she's like, yeah, but you don't get to define who I am. And it's like, I don't even know who you are. You're the one wearing these ropes. Like, what do you mean? Like super passive aggressive, like the whole time. I was like, this is the weirdest character introduction I've seen. The language she uses is super weird, like does not fit the game at all. And people might say, oh, here comes Rurikhan being like all political. I'm not being political because I was one of the few people that like I avoided looking at the clips to make sure that I got all of the context. And when I got there, I was like, oh wow, it really is that bad. I would have not expected it. I thought a lot of it was people exaggerating. It wasn't. No. And again, I'm somebody that I don't care that much about it. I'm still playing the game, but like, yes, I can see why people are so disappointed with it.
Yeah. No,
and again, it just galvanizes.
Like
it just galvanizes people from both camps against each other, which is exactly the opposite of what I want. I want people to celebrate gaming together so that they can enjoy, whether you're queer, trans, straight, white, black, Asian. I want, like, for instance, you look at Monster Hunter. It's like, I just want somebody that comes with me and we'll go hunt monsters together.
Yeah.
Okay? If you're trans, cool. come hunt monsters with me. We'll have a blast.
Dude, I couldn't.
If you're black,
I
cool. Come hunt monsters
can
with me. We'll have a
say-
blast. That's the way that I look at it. And I hate that we have this culture war that is being fought that is basically pitching people against each other. I don't want that. That fucking sucks.
Well,
because gaming used to be a unifying hobby. And now it's
Yeah.
being used as like a pawn in the middle of the culture war where everybody needs to gain ground for both sides. It's like, nah, bro, fuck that.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I have never in my entire life gone into a dungeon, a raid, or any game of League of Legends asking beforehand, so who's trans, gay, black, Latino, whatever.
I need a list.
couldn't
I
care
need a
less.
list of how many black people are on my raid party.
Yeah,
And
like,
how many Asian people are on my raid party? I
Dude,
need,
I
I need to
found
make sure
out-
we fulfill the quotas.
like a while ago, because there's this there's a guy that used to be in my community. He's probably still around, but I changed my stream time, so he's in America, so there's no way for me to. Like, he used to sleep probably when I stream. But we used to be like very cool, like very. I enjoyed hanging out with him and chatting all sorts of match, and it was just fun. And I accidentally kind of found out that he's Mexican. Like, completely accidentally found out that he's Mexican.
Fuck that guy, I guess.
Because that's usually how it... Yeah, I immediately ended friendship right there.
It's just like,
me?
fuck. A goddamn... what?
But there's a reason for it, right? There's people in my community who are trans, who are queer, who are gay, who are straight. I couldn't care less. Like, just be cool, and then everyone else will be cool. And don't make your identity your identity. Because I hate the fact that we call it even your identity. I don't think being trans is an identity. I don't think that's a personality. That might be a trait that you have, but it's not defining of who you are as a character or as a person. So I hate the fact that it, and the only reason I bring this guy up that I found out was Mexican is he never spoke about his race. He didn't care. The way we found out about it was he was talking about food that he was making, and I think I asked, wait, how do you even know how to make that? Because he was pronouncing it literally, like, authentically, and he was like, well, I'm Mexican, so of course I can make this. I was like, bro, you should teach me. So that's how I found out about it. It was just sort of like run of the mill. But nowadays, it's like whenever you play a game, they have to lead with that. That's their whole personality. That's my problem with Tash. Every interaction that I've seen with that character, them being non-binary is who they are.
I haven't
That's
even,
all they
I
are.
don't even know that she's non-binary yet.
I think it becomes very, like, her identity and her struggles with identity is literally front and center of every conversation. Once they come out as non-binary, then everything's about them being non-binary.
Yeah, I can see it.
So it's sort of like, dude, no. Just no. Because you are hurting actual people. People who genuinely don't care about this stuff, just want to live their lives. You're making a big deal out of stuff, and it's making other people uncomfortable, and then they lash out. And of course they're gonna lash out.
It's basically galvanizing people against it because of how obnoxious. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
like
currently,
the whole vegan thing all over
Yeah.
again. Like, you remember how vegans always feel the need to, like, oh, how can you eat meat? That's disgusting, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I have a very good friend of mine who's vegan, and never once did he try to guilt me into it. Like, sometimes he'd make a joke. Like, one of my favorite jokes that he would make was whenever you talk about eggs, he would call it the menstrual discharge of a flightless bird. I was just like, wow. No, wait. I think there's more to it. It's the unfertilized menstrual discharge of a flightless. That's fucking impressive.
Wow.
But he would say
nuts.
shit like that as a joke. Like, he wouldn't actually be he would do his vegan thing, and it's whatever. And he wasn't obnoxious about it, and that's the thing.
Yeah. No, I think if you just leave it out, if you leave that part of yourself Like, dude, it's gonna be the same if you spoke to someone and their entire personality is them being straight. It'd just be like, bro, what? Why do I have to consistently hear about you being straight? I don't understand. We can't have a single conversation without you reminding me that you
I
happen
need you
to
to
be
know how
straight.
straight I am, though.
Yeah.
Like an
I mean,
arrow, bro. Okay.
but my first response to anyone who has ever done sort of the macho thing, right? So you get guys that's like almost extra macho, you know? The first response usually from people like me and most people is
What are you
like, I
compensating
might be
for, bro?
compensating. Like he probably
What's
likes
wrong
sucking
with you?
pee-pee and he's just pretending not
It's
to
like,
like
listen,
it because
you can be gay. It's 2024, okay, brother?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to hide it behind the macho facade. It's
Yeah.
okay to suck dick.
Yeah, it's annoying for most people when people overcompensate. And that's sort of the thing that I just find very annoying with this
Yeah.
entire debate.
But anyways, I don't know how we got here
Yeah.
from Star Wars Outlaws, but here we are.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, it's the
Star Wars
DI stuff
Outlaws-
and it is happening.
Star Wars Outlaws tanked on Steam, and I
Yes.
see that as an absolute win. And I hope that Ubisoft continues to suffer, specifically despite that monetization, bro, that was like all
Yeah.
upset. Oh, how can you wish ill upon my company? And it's like, it's specifically because of you, the monetization director. You're the reason why. Your decisions are exactly why I want Ubisoft to suffer, okay?
Yeah.
So every time that you wonder, why do people wish so much ill on me? The only thing you have to do is look in the fucking mirror. That's what you have to do.
Yeah. Dude, that would
Okay.
be like standing in the middle of a war zone, crying that everyone's shooting at you, but you're holding a
Why
fucking
is it-
bazooka.
Why
It's
is
like
everybody shooting at me? Another RPG blasts. Why? Pulls out a machine gun, kills like 10 people. Is like, why won't you stop attacking me? Orders in an airstrike, murders 100 people. Is like, why does everybody hate me?
Yeah, that's literally
I don't
it.
know. The lack of self-awareness is legendary, dude. Legendary.
But on to better news, and then even better news. Path of Exile 2 has received a massive reveal, I guess we could say. And
Dude,
it turns
did you
out...
watch that yesterday?
I watched some of it. I watched like clips of it. I'm not a huge...
my
Like, you know
God.
me. I'm not a huge
I'm not-
ARPG guy.
I'm not huge into ARPGs either. Like I just used to be a really big Diablo fan. And unfortunately what ended up happening was at one point in my life I made a terrible decision. And the decision that I made was like, oh man, I really like Diablo 2. I want to play Diablo 3. And if I remember correctly, Path of Exile was close to Diablo 3, if you remember correctly. And rather than choosing to focus on Path of Exile, I focused on Diablo 3. And that was probably one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my life, because Path of Exile 2 is more Path of Exile, the original one, is more Diablo than Diablo 3. And it continues to be more Diablo than Diablo 4. And, you know, the thing is, once you lose the train on Path of Exile, it's very hard to jump back on. And it was made very clear when I was watching the presentation yesterday, because the developers, this is actually genius, because if you didn't watch the whole thing, I get to tell you about it, but like the way that they're handling Path of Exile 2 is absolute genius. Because you know the problem that you always have with free-to-play games that launch is that people rush through the campaign, and then they get to the end game, and then they're like, there's no end game. There's nothing to do. So what the Path of Exile team did is they went ahead and they were like, okay, so our campaign's going to have 6 acts. And once you finish the 6 acts, you're going to be level 65, and that puts you into the end game. And there's going to be a bunch of end game systems. And I'm not going to talk about the end game systems. I will say some things, but it's like, their whole thing was, what they realized with the early access thing is that if they kept working on the campaign, they weren't going to be able to put that much end game out on the early access of the game. And they decided like, well, isn't that the mistake that literally everybody makes in this industry? They make their campaign, people play through the campaign, then they're done, and there's nothing to do afterwards. So what they did was they stopped working on the campaign. So they've only did the first 3 acts of the campaign, and then acts 4, 6, and 5, they shelved those for now for early access, and they put everybody in the team working on Endgame. And what that does is when they started talking about the Endgame systems, my head started spinning around. It started spinning. And I think at some point they changed the topic and they started talking about environmental issues because everything had a tree to it. There's a skill tree for this, there's a skill tree for that, there's a skill tree for this other thing. It is absolutely insane. So obviously they have their massive skill tree to it's been seen and acknowledged. Everybody knows the Path of Exile skill tree by now, I would imagine. But then there's like a skill tree that enables you to improve the PvE content. And basically just the sheer amount of systems that they started talking about. There's Ascensions, which give you access to a separate class. And there's 2 different types of Ascensions. There's going to be 3. There's going to be 6 classes on release, which just change the point at which you start on the skill tree, very much like Path of Exile 1. Then there's like all of these weapons, and every class can use every weapon. Every weapon has like 22 different skills that can then be modified with skill gems. So you can have like, oh, this skill throws a grenade, and then you put multi-shot on it, now it throws multiple grenades, and then you put something else on it, now it does something different. And then when they started showing like, okay, and this is going to be the end game map, and they started scrolling through it, and it just didn't end. It was like infinite. And you go through this, and as you do the different maps, it takes you to different places out in the world, which gives you access to different activities. And then there's this activity in which you go and you get like random chests or something. And then there's this other activity that is special for you to get gems. And then there's this other activity that you go and you do these events where you go inside this bubble thing, and then the bubble explodes, and then you get bonus loots and blah, blah, blah. And then there's this end game activity that gives you this thing. Bro, they started talking about so many endgame activities, and by the way, I consider myself to be, a fairly knowledgeable gamer. Like, I break down a lot of systems for a lot of video games. I was out when they started talking about the second endgame system. I was like, bro, no. You need a college degree to understand all of the endgame systems that Path of Exile 2 is going to have. This thing is going to absolutely murder Diablo 4. Like, people would tell me, oh, this thing has beaten Diablo 4. And I was like, no. A beating implies that your victim is left with his life. This thing murdered Diablo 4, threw it in a wood chipper, and then it used the remains as fertilizer to plant their skill trees, okay?
Yeah.
That's what Diablo is right now. It's fertilizer for the Path of Exile 2 skill trees.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think just from the stuff that I've seen, the main reason I've always been more leaning towards Diablo than Path of Exile, even though I don't play a lot of Diablo, has been story. Blizzard have always focused a little bit more on story, and the only reason I play any game is for story. This time around, though, they did say that there is a hell of a lot more focus on story. Like, in Path of Exile 1, there is a story, but the story is very sort of bare bones, lackluster.
I don't know, because I didn't play enough of Path of Exile 1 to really...
I did play Path of Exile 1. I sort of gave up halfway through the leveling experience because the story just never really gripped me. Because there is story, but it's more a case of... It's almost like a Monster Hunter level story, where the story is actually...
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
Hold up, let me explain.
What the fuck?
Let me explain.
My game catching strays?
I'm not throwing shade. Monster Hunter isn't a game that tries to be about the story. Because fundamentally, the story is just meant to give you an objective to go for, so that you can go out in the world and get going, right? Because the world is really what's supposed to be celebrated. Path of Exile 1 was very much that. It was less about the story and more just the story was your reason for doing what you do. And that's really the focus of it. This time around, they did say there's going to be a lot more story. There's going to be 12 classes, although 6 will be during early access. And then another 6 will be added on main game, which I think is really cool. I'm wondering how... I'm wondering how this early access play will work out, because if it's anything like Baldur's Gate 3, this is probably the best route they could have gone. put it into early access, allow players to figure out what the problems are with the game. So by the time the game goes live for everyone, it's going to be a massive success.
But the thing about the early access of this game is that the early access of this game is going to have enough content for thousands of hours. Easily.
Oh, yeah.
Easily thousands of hours from what I have seen. Like, it is absolutely insane. Like, I'm going to be jumping into early access on this game, which is like $30 or whatever to jump in. The thing that I've always heard about the monetization of Path of Exile, because this is a free-to-play game, the thing I've always heard about the monetization is that it's stash tabs appears to be the thing that everybody talks about. It's like, you got to buy stash tabs. You got to buy inventory space, and that is pretty much it. So it will be interesting for me to see how it works on this one. I was hoping that this one would be a little bit slower paced, but they said, no, by the end of the game, you're going to be clearing whole screens with skills. And I was like, oh man, it's like, I get it. It's a huge power fantasy, but I like slower, more deliberate games where you have to like focus more on certain things. And one of the things that I really liked, which I don't know if this is, it's probably not the first time that it's been done in an ARPG, but it's not very common. They have active blocking, where if you use a shield, you actually have to put the shield up, and then there's like there's actually like a bar that fills up with like a stun meter for how long you can block. But I love active blocking, and I'm hoping that there's builds that can like take advantage of that. That'll be very, very interesting to see how they do it.
No, I think there's like, look, I think it's not an overstatement to say that Diablo 4, while it is in a better space today than what it launched in, it still did not launch anywhere near the expectation that people had for the game. And it's still not even now near the expectation that people had for the game.
Here's where I'm at with Diablo 4. I think that the game that you have now is the game that you should have had on release. And I think that Blizzard engaged in a dark pattern willingly. I think they've done it willingly, even though they've obviously denied it, because like, oh no, it wasn't me, I didn't do it. I didn't kill him, Your Honor. It wasn't me. So they've denied it, but they have admitted it, that it was kind of like a dark pattern type situation. They did so in my Twitter thread, and they've never refunded players that lost their season pass token because of what they did. That was the dark pattern thing. They've never, they've never did right by players with that. They've aggressively monetized the game. It is brutally monetized. And I think that it's just a disgusting game. And the interesting thing is, a lot of people are now pointing to the expansion. And like, if you look at, for instance, Co-Carnage, people that know Co-Carnage will know that he's kind of like, he usually tries to be as positive as he can about games. He hated the story for Diablo 4. He did not like it at all. He thought it was bad all around. So it's like, if not even the story is good, what is the purpose of Diablo at this point? So
So I think Diablo is ripe for the picking. It's ripe for the taking.
Oh yeah.
And I think Path of Exile, especially with the success of Path of Exile 1, because it is important to note, Path of Exile, when it launched, it launched to much less fanfare. Over the course of many, many years, it became the premier ARPG. But because it never happened all at once, it wasn't really able to kill Diablo 3 or kill the hype for Diablo. People were still mainly thinking of Diablo as the ARPG. And then Path of Exile was just this thing that had a massive cult following, even though the cult following was major, way bigger than the Diablo following. But in the minds of people, Diablo was still like the premier ARPG. I'm talking about normies now. I'm not talking about hardcore ARPG fans. But Path of Exile 2, because of the success of Path of Exile 1, is going to launch to massive fanfare. And it may actually do the final thing that we've been waiting for, and that is it will completely decimate Diablo. Because now, even in the minds of normies, if you're in the mood to play an ARPG, you're going to go play Path of Exile.
And by the way, I want to make it clear, If you like playing Diablo, play Diablo. Like
Yeah, of course.
people will instantly say, "Oh, why does it have to be a war?" Blah 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 blah. And it's like when we're expressing it like that, we're talking about in terms of how it grabs our attention. And so it's like I'm pretty sure that because I want to jump back into Diablo, but just from I can't stand the idea of jumping back into Diablo after what Blizzard did to me. Like people will be like, "Oh, what do you mean?" It's like what I mean is they reached into my fucking wallet, they took my season token with a dark pattern, and they never did right. And I will keep saying that until the end of the day. People are like, it's $10, bro. It's like, okay, so if I beat you up in the middle of the street, take $10 from your wallet, it was just $10. Well, what's the big deal? I'll just take $10. You can make more. You know, that's fair. It's like, no, it's not. I stand on principle that Blizzard fucked me over when it came to Diablo 4, and I will never let it go. I will never. I'm like Dan can't stream with Twitch. I will never let it go. Never. Okay. I'll be 80 years old and I'll be bringing this up. How Blizzard took $10 away from me in an unfair way and never did right. Okay. Yeah. I will say this until the end of time. And anybody that has a problem with that, get mad. I don't care. But if you want to play Diablo 4, have fun, do whatever you want, because we have a limited time on this earth. Play whatever games bring you the most joy. That's the way that I look at it.
On to very good news. Yeah.
I feel like we should jump into the Game Awards, because that is so important, and we haven't even brought it up yet.
Oh yeah, and we'll quickly do that, because we're probably not going to be able to get to everything we have here.
Yeah.
So let me just get to the Game Awards here.
Do you want me to? I'll throw you a link to make it easier for you.
I have one here.
Oh, you have a link?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
all right. So there we go.
A couple of categories that I will bring up personally, because there's obviously controversy on the Game of the Year, and I will talk a little bit about some of those things, because I've even made a somewhat spiteful video because of that stuff. But so some important things for me personally: best ongoing game is they put Destiny 2 in there. And I get it. The final shape may be a really good expansion or something. I didn't play it, but the thing is, I think that Bungie, very much like Ubisoft, very much like Blizzard, they're fucking scum, and they don't deserve awards as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so they made one good expansion. Congratulations. Ongoing would mean a game that keeps going and keeps doing well. I'm pretty sure that they got nominated last year for ongoing as well with Lightfall, whatever the fuck that piece of shit was that nobody liked. So it's like they just seem to give this award by default to Destiny, because a lot of people in mainstream media like to play Destiny, because that is, at the end of the day, the way that these awards are given out, which there's a jury. And I blame them. I don't blame the actual Game Awards, because I've seen a lot of people throw blame around to like Jeff Keighley. And Jeff Keighley has a lot of problems in terms of how he does brutal advertisements in these awards, obviously, in the whole wrap it up shit. But most of the responsibility of the nominees goes towards websites like IGN, Eurogamer, all of those mainstream websites. They're the ones that choose which games are nominated. So I find it interesting that most people still don't know. Like, it literally says on the website, if you go to jury, it says right there who are the people that selected these nominees, which is why I criticized them for Destiny 2 being chosen, because it fucking doesn't deserve it. And you can tell me how good the final shape is until you're blue in the face. It doesn't erase everything else that this company has done. So Destiny 2 definitely doesn't deserve it. Diablo 4 definitely doesn't deserve it either. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Final Fantasy 14 might deserve it, but I hated Dawn Trail so much, I wasn't able to finish the expansion. I might go back and finish it later, but like, I don't know if it deserves it or not. I've heard that content-wise, a lot of like the raid content and dungeon content is really fun, so it might deserve it there. But in story, definitely doesn't deserve it from a story perspective. Fortnite always ends up winning this. And then Helldivers 2, how is it winning best ongoing game when it literally launched this year?
Yeah.
It literally launched this year. And then you have games like Path of Exile 1 that is getting snubbed, which obviously has been receiving content updates and leagues and shit, and it's absolutely massive. But nobody in mainstream media plays it, and that's the problem. The people that are representing...
No Man's Sky could be in this.
No Man's Sky is the one that I think is the biggest snub for this category, because No Man's Sky...
Cyberpunk could be in this.
No, it couldn't. Cyberpunk launched Phantom Liberty last year. What the fuck do you mean?
Based ongoing game.
No. Absolutely not. Ongoing game is for online games, dude. No.
Go look at the community support that they've done. Because ongoing game, I don't view as just online.
There's a community support award.
Yeah. No. But I don't just view based ongoing game as online gaming. Because if you're going to do online gaming, the reason I don't view it as that is if you have a single player game, but your support for that game is consistently ongoing, I believe you should be nominated for that category. If you want to have a pure MMO category or an online category, then do an online category. But for ongoing for me, right?
Content.
No. But
did it receive new content?
Dude, some of their patches have actually changed some of the endings, added some more stuff into it. Added some quests into it.
How many hours of content? Come on now.
No, I mean, the game itself has a crap ton of content. Yeah, but I put Baldur's Gate 3.
New content.
I don't just put that, just put Cyberpunk into it. I also add Baldur's Gate 3 into ongoing game because the patches that they've done for Baldur's Gate 3 has also massively changed the way that you can play Baldur's Gate 3. The different build paths you can go, some class combinations you previously couldn't play that you now can play as a result of changes, which basically does add a shit ton of new content to it. So, in my opinion, Destiny 2 doesn't belong here. Diablo 4 doesn't belong here. Final Fantasy 14 does not belong here. Fortnite does belong there. I'm not
willing to go that far with 14. I think 14 might belong here because I've heard that the raids are fire. The raids they've added, they're fire.
Even if the raids are fire, the overall community opinion on Final Fantasy 14 is bad. And I see it. I'm not even a 14 player.
It shifted significantly, yes.
People do not like Final Fantasy 14 because the thing that Final Fantasy 14 is known for is
it's not people don't like 14. It's people don't like Dawntrail. Let's be very specific.
But Dawntrail is now 14. It's like when we say people don't like World of Warcraft, they're talking about the newest expansion. Yeah. But if you're going to have 14 on here for dungeons and raids, then you should have World of Warcraft... the War Within on here, right? Because there's things that people like there as well, and then things that people hate. Helldivers 2, I just want to very quickly, if you say Helldivers 2, this is why my problem with based ongoing game is why I don't believe that it should just be online, is Helldivers 2 based ongoing game, dude, the last, I don't know how many patches of Helldivers 2 has been dragged by the player base.
No, but it's like the problem isn't even that. Best ongoing game is, it even says here, awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. It released this year. It shouldn't even be eligible because it released this year. Like, but this is a game that is ongoing for a certain period of time.
You see, but even that category that you just said there, ongoing content that involves player experience over time, I think is what you said there.
Yeah.
That is then Baldur's Gate 3, because their patches do involve content that increases or betters the player experience. That then does include games...
I mean, listen, if you're gonna...
games like Cyberpunk 2077. I'm not making a case here for Cyberpunk 2077. I'm making a case compared to the games they have on this list.
Yeah. That's what I was going to bring it to. It's like, if you're going to bring Destiny 2 in here, I would rather Cyberpunk be in here, if that's what you're saying.
It's literally not... I don't think Cyberpunk
Baldur's
should
Gate 3 as well.
Yeah. I want to make this clear. In a perfect world, all things being equal, I don't think Cyberpunk 2077 should be based ongoing game. Yeah. But based on the games that have been announced for it,
But
Cyberpunk
again,
2077 could be on this list.
it just reinforces to me, and especially with how displeased people have been with this year's Game Award nominees, it just reinforces that a lot of these mainstream media websites that form the jury of the Game Awards, they no longer represent gamer sentiment so much that they're just getting, this is why the Game Awards are getting completely slammed. Like two games that absolutely should be here no matter what. Path of Exile and No Man's Sky. I don't think anybody can argue against that. Those two games belong here. And I think that No Man's Sky would clear it because No Man's Sky literally revamped the whole universe. It's insane. Yeah. And again, I would just like to point out that No Man's Sky does all of this for free.
I want to say there's another game. There's another game.
Not even $0.99, free 99.
If we wanted to really talk about it, we could probably talk about Once Human as well. That could easily be on based ongoing game because it's also a game that continuously. Yeah, well, Helldivers released this year and they have it on the list. So and the players of Once Human actually do like the changes to Once Human. So yeah, I agree with you. I think the nominations is really bad and weird. When you the thing is, when you go to like based game, now there's a bunch of categories here that I have.
Game of the year or which one?
Yeah. The base game or game of the year.
Game of the year. Okay.
Yeah, but if you look at some of the other categories, there's plenty of categories that I have issues with, where I'm sometimes just issues with the category itself, where I'm not entirely sure why the category even.
You want to know a good one? If we go to Best Action Adventure. You go to Best Action Adventure, Silent Hill 2 is on there. It's like, how is Silent Hill 2 an action adventure game?
Dude, Star Wars Outlaws is on there.
Star Wars Outlaws is like an open world game. I think that while Star Wars Outlaws can be in the category, I don't think it deserves the nomination. Whereas with Silent Hill, I don't even think it belongs in the category, regardless if it deserves the nomination or not. Then you have Astrobot, which is a platformer. Then you have Prince of Persia, which is a Metroidvania. It's just like, what is action adventure anymore? Like, action adventure is supposed to be God of War, Legend of Zelda, that type of stuff. It's like, for this category, I'm like, hey, I voted for Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom because it was the only action adventure game on the list.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a bunch of games here that I think is just nonsense and doesn't make a whole lot of sense. When it comes to base adaptation, this one I personally feel like, as much as I love Arcane, I think Fallout should win this.
No.
And the only reason I think Fallout should win this is it is the first time we get a live action adaptation of a video game where the live action adaptation is actually good. Like, it's actually a fun show to watch, which we should celebrate that so we get more.
I don't want to give anything that involves Bethesda. No,
you
get nothing.
Did you watch Fallout?
No, I haven't. I'll be honest. It's not fair.
Do yourself a favor? Watch Fallout. It's really, really good.
I'm just being. I'll admit I'm being blatantly unfair because I still feel somewhat burned by Fallout 76. I'm being blatantly unfair.
I'm about to ask you a question that I kind of know the answer to already before we get to Game of the Year, and because that's a big discussion. I know the answer to this, but I have to ask it anyways. What is your most anticipated game on the list given year?
It needs to win, Akalon. It needs to crush all the other games in this list. I will run a campaign to make sure that this game wins. We will win. We will crush the normies. It is what it is. Monster Hunter Wilds is by far the most anticipated game off this list, and it's not even close.
I don't agree. Just FYI, I am anticipating Monster Hunter Wilds. I really do want to play it. But my most anticipated will be Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
Okay.
Death Stranding is such a weird game. The reason I think this game So I get why you want Monster Hunter. You're a huge Monster Hunter fan.
But
the reason why
it's not even like, oh, I just want it to win because I want. It's like, no, it's literally the game that I'm most anticipating next year, and it's not even close.
If I'm talking objectively, the reason I think Death Stranding 2 deserves this win for most anticipated game, it's such a unique game.
It is a very unique experience.
There's no other game even like it. It involves so many different things. Where Monster Hunter is Monster Hunter, and those guys do a phenomenal job with Monster Hunter, and the evolution of it, from what I've heard from people, to the new open world model is actually phenomenal. But the only reason I don't know about that is the only one I've played is Monster Hunter Wilds Beta, so I don't know how it used to be in the past. But I think Death Stranding 2 on the beach does something to gaming that no other game. It's sort of like, I would put it on the level of the original Mass Effect, because Mass Effect, the original 3, was the first time we got games where it's the action scenes you play simply to get to the cutscenes. Like, the game is just basically one big movie. It's an interactive movie. That's what you're playing. And Death Stranding 2 does something similar, but then just takes it to the next level in terms of interactive movie gaming, which is phenomenal, and I think we need more of this. So yeah, from my perspective, Death Stranding 2 would be most anticipated.
Here's what I need you to do, okay? I can respect that you're excited for Death Stranding 2, but I'm going to need you to vote for Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm voting for Death Stranding.
No, vote for Monster Hunter Wilds! You know we have a bigger battle to fight, right?
Yeah, but Death Stranding 2, yeah.
No, but like, we have to fight against Grand Theft Auto 6, because that's the big battle. Because you know everybody and their mother's going to be voting for Grand Theft Auto 6.
If we're going to put bets, my bet is on Grand Theft Auto.
No!
Like, we know it is winning. We know it is winning.
Vote for Wilds! Wilds needs to win! It needs to win!
Okay, but if we're going to talk about another category that is just absolutely bonkers, what is this?
Which category is it? Tell me.
Content Creator of the Year. Dude, I don't know any of these people. Like, I don't know who they are.
I know of Typical Gamer, and I've seen some clips from Queso.
I have no idea.
I voted for Queso. I saw some funny clips from Queso. I guess that was the extension of it.
I have no idea who any of these people are. But anyways, not going to keep going. One final thing here. I know you don't follow this, but in my opinion, best esports team, interesting that there's 3 League of Legends teams on here. It has to be T1. I hate T1. I don't hate T1, but I'm not a huge fan of T1. I would have preferred if Billy or Genji got it, but T1, they just won Worlds again. T1 is probably going to win it.
I didn't even vote in that category, but let's look real quick at Best RPG. We have Dragon's Dogma 2, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Infinite Wealth Like a Dragon, Metaphor Fantasio. So a lot of people don't like the fact that Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree got nominated for Best RPG, and we're going to be talking about it later when we talk about Game of the Year as well.
Yeah.
I would just like to remind those people that everybody was super happy when Blood and Wine won Best RPG over Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody was super happy about it. Oh, this DLC had won Best RPG Game of the Year. And everybody was okay with it. There were no problems. There was no backlash. Everybody just took it on the chin. There's no issues. All of a sudden, when it happens to be Shadow of the Erdtree, it doesn't deserve it. It's a DLC. There's a problem. And it's like, I would just like to point out the absolute hypocrisy because of the fact that Blood and Wine won Best RPG in 2016. Okay?
So my 2 cents on it, I said it last yesterday on stream. If a DLC rises to the level of a video game, then it absolutely deserves to be nominated and can win.
Yep.
I don't mind. If you have a DLC
like,
where the DLC literally just adds 10 more hours of gameplay, they know. But if the DLC basically rivals that of the original game, or even just 20, 25, 30 hours, and it is phenomenal, then why doesn't it deserve to be nominated?
Here's where I'm at. I feel like DLCs should have their own category. It's that simple.
I don't. So
you just
here's
make their
my
own
thing.
category, be done.
Yeah, but you see, here's my reason why I don't necessarily. What are we doing with the Game Awards? This is the thing that I think we need to get to. What are we trying to do? We're trying to award studios for doing phenomenal work and then inspire other studios to strive to be as good as those studios.
Yeah, but why can't we have a category for DLCs? We have categories for fucking mobile games.
Yeah, but
like, just have a category for DLC. Boom, done.
No, but I'll do it. I'll make it easy, right? So let's take, for example, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree being in Best RPG, and now people might make the argument, as Polygon did, Dragon Age: The Veilguard should have gotten the nomination for Best RPG because Shadow of the Erdtree is a
like. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. Because here's the thing. You haven't played it.
Yeah?
I have a little bit more authority to talk about Veilguard. I have played it. I have 50 hours on it, and I'm probably going to finish it. But I just want to point one thing out. I would rather
8 hours of it, just to be clear.
I would rather this category have 4 games than Veilguard be nominated for Best RPG. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I would faster have this category only have 4 games than to see that game in there.
But let me just point this out because I think it's important people understand the philosophy that I come from. If you want to make the claim that Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree doesn't belong here because it's a DLC, but Dragon Age: The Veilguard does belong here because it is an RPG and it is a base game, then my thing immediately is, if we're trying to reward developers for doing good work, then you absolutely want Shadow of the Erdtree here because those developers did a hell of a lot better with their DLC than what Dragon Age: The Veilguard did with theirs.
Oh, absolutely.
With their base game.
Close.
And so from my perspective, no one is being snubbed because that's usually what this argument boils down to. Oh, you're adding Shadow of the Erdtree in there and snubbing other developers. Snubbing how? The DLC managed to be better than most base games. No one's being snubbed.
An actual snub is what happened in Best Ongoing with Path of Exile and No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
That's an actual snub.
Yeah, that's an actual snub because it's an apples to apples comparison where 2 games are on that list that doesn't belong on that list and 2 games that should be on that list isn't on that list. But in this instance, Shadow of the Erdtree is objectively a game that did better than Star Wars Outlaws, did better than Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and is better value for money. Players enjoyed it more as an RPG. I don't understand why there is even this discussion of DLCs don't belong in categories that isn't DLC appropriate.
I still think that there should be a DLC category, and that
I don't mind if you also have a DLC category, but I don't think so. If we move to the Game of the Year, right?
Yeah,
Game of the Year nominees, you have Astrobot, Balatro, which I think is actually pretty good because I think Balatro is the first ever indie game that's being nominated for.
There's been other indie games and indie games I've even wanted in the past, like It Takes Two, Game of the Year. Well, I mean,
what slow year was that?
It's not even an indie game though. It's published by EA, but it's kind of like under the EA Originals label, so it's almost indie. It's kinda, But it won Game of the Year. And what slow year was that? I don't actually know what it was up against, but I remember that I don't think I actually agreed with it. I can check it out real quick. Because then you have an archive here on Wikipedia.
Okay. But you have Balatro, you have Mythic Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantasio. Those are your options for Game of the Year. First thing I'll say is it's a pretty slow year if those are the nominations for Game of the Year. And I don't mean to snub any of the games that is on this list. I just mean to say... you would have expected
I disagree
in
with
a
it being
year
a slow
where
year.
let me put it this way. In a year where so many AAA studios put out games, the fact that so few AAA studios actually made it onto this list is ridiculous. The Astrobot Balatro taking a spot from Dragon Age the Veilguard Star Wars Outlaws
See,
just speaks to how bad
no,
of a state the Western AAA studios are in.
I disagree. Because, like, for instance, with Balatro, I've been hearing this from a lot of people that is like, oh, there's a card game on double. It's like Balatro, from everybody that I've spoken with, they're like, this game is insane. This game is actually insane. It's a fantastic fucking video game. I want to play it before the Game Awards come out to be a little bit more informed on it.
Like I said, I'm not dissing any of the games on the list, but
it
if
feels like it feels like it though, because you're valuing AAA too much.
I am, but there's a reason for it. AAA has $200 million to throw behind a video game.
Yeah.
Indie games do not. Now, imagine quickly a world, right, where Dragon Age the Veilguard launches with supreme writing on the level of Origin, right? So the writing is on the level of Origin.
Win.
If Star Wars Outlaws launches with writing on the level of Witcher 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Baldur's Gate 3, any of these games, right? Imagine those games launching in that state. Does Astrobot or Balatro even make it onto this list? The answer is no.
Yes, there's a chance.
There might be brilliant games. But they won't be able to beat out the scale that AAA can go
What you are describing could potentially replace Final Fantasy VII Rebirth as well as it can replace Balatro, because Balatro is on that level. As is Astrobot.
Hold up. It doesn't matter, because the argument I'm making isn't a tit for tat argument. It's not an argument of these games aren't good. It's an argument of the Western studios are bad.
Yeah, but
because in the point past, we would almost always have AAA stacked games of the year. If we go back 5 years ago, this list would almost be completely populated by AAA.
Yes.
And all of us would agree with the list.
But the thing is, the thing is, independent developers have also been grossly improving, and I'm just pointing out that you say, oh, a perfect Dragon Age Veilguard or a perfect Star Wars Outlaw could replace Balatro or Astrobot. I would argue it could also replace Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, or maybe Metaphor, or it could replace one of the other ones, and Balatro and Astrobot might still be there.
What I think you're not understanding is you keep trying to defend indie developers and Astrobot and Balatro. I'm not attacking them. I'm attacking the AAA industry.
Yeah, but you're
saying
have that
200 million.
The example that you gave is just that they would replace Balatro and Astrobot, and I'm just saying, I feel like if those games were excellent, these two games could still be in here, 100%.
If AAA was actually using dollar for dollar the dollars into quality, Balatro and Astrobot would not be on the list.
I don't agree.
It's not possible.
I don't agree.
I can use a very simple example. Very, very simple example. Right? The argument would be, if we have two movie scripts, exactly the same movie script, we give one to an independent filmmaker of some talent, right? But with independent filmmaking money. We give the other to a Hollywood producer with all the money, but also with a shit ton of talent, and we asked both of them to make the movie. The Hollywood movie would outperform the independent movie 100%, because independent
of public
film
perception.
Not public perception, because of money.
So wait. Let me just ask you something about your scenario here. Are you arguing that the Hollywood movie would 100% be a better movie?
It would.
No.
Of course it would.
No, it wouldn't. It fucking wouldn't.
It would objectively be a better movie.
No, it wouldn't.
And how can you say it wouldn't?
Because
everything that you want to do. Okay, so let's say for example, they had the Matrix script, right? The independent developer would have to find weird, awkward, slow motion moments and camera tricks
Echelon,
that cost
me ask you
nothing. Hold up.
something.
No, I'm trying. Just hear me out, right? Because I think
know
you're
what you're saying.
misunderstanding what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're
The
saying.
independent developer would have to try and cheat in order to get the movie across, because he can't afford all of the money to make the actual special effects.
Now
The Hollywood producer can do all of the special effects perfectly because he has the money to do it in. So it would just objectively be a better movie if both have the talent to make the movie.
I don't agree.
See how you can't.
Because I don't agree that more budget and better special effects make a better movie, because you can have the same script, the same everything, and just throwing more budget at it doesn't necessarily make it better. As a matter of fact, let me ask you something. What's your favorite movie of all time?
You're ignoring everything else.
What's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, that would be a toss-up. Lord of the Rings, most likely my favorite.
Okay.
Or Harry Potter.
There you go. You're picking like these two really big Hollywood blockbusters. What do you think is my favorite movie of all time?
No, I don't know.
Exactly, because it involves nothing of that. My favorite movie of all time is Reservoir Dogs. This is a movie where you barely even get to see the scenes that the movie is representing. Why? Because Quentin Tarantino is a fucking genius, even back in the day where he had no goddamn budget.
Wait, but this is the problem. You completely do not understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I do.
Okay, Quentin Tarantino, zero budget to make Matrix 1, or Quentin Tarantino, all the budget to make Matrix 1. Which Matrix is better?
But Quentin Tarantino...
No. Answer the question. Which Matrix is
Quentin
better?
Tarantino's not a Hollywood typical guy.
It doesn't matter. I'm asking you a question. In a philosophical state, which movie is better? Quentin Tarantino making Matrix 1, zero budget, or Quentin Tarantino making Matrix with all the budget?
I don't know which movie is better.
No, I feel like you're objectively denying, or you're refusing to answer the question.
No, because here's the thing. Would you say that Quentin Tarantino has more budget now or less budget? Because Reservoir Dogs was one of his first movies.
Well, he has more budget now because he's well known.
And yet,
then,
my favorite movie of Quentin Tarantino is still one where he didn't have as much budget. And let me tell you why. Because necessity is the mother of invention. Okay, there's a reason why
you're making different arguments again.
No, I'm not.
I already stated to you the boundaries of the argument. If we want to talk about Quentin Tarantino's greatest works, no one is going to point to Reservoir Dogs. You have a personal relationship with Reservoir Dogs, and it made an impression on you. That's great.
But guess what? People will point to Pulp Fiction, which has less budget than, say, Django.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Because
why not?
Pulp Fiction is a brilliant movie because Quentin Tarantino is a brilliant director.
Exactly.
Right? But so is Django. So is Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah.
They're all phenomenal movies because he's a phenomenal actor. Now, I already explained to you, if you had the original director for Dragon Age Origins making Dragon Age the Veilguard with a much bigger budget than what Astrobot or Balatro could ever even fathom to throw into it, and they weren't just using their budget to hide bad parts of the script, they were doing everything perfectly well as you should develop a game, then sadly, indie games will almost never be able to beat them out because you just simply don't have the budget. Dude, I don't know how you can say you don't agree.
I don't agree. Because you put budget onto everything. You're like, if you keep throwing more money at it, it will become better, when I can assure you that is not the case. You want me to give you a perfect example? How many streamers do you have that come up and they start, their streaming career, and they throw money at getting like a better mixer? Oh man, I'm gonna get a bomb ass mixer. You want to know where my mixer is? I don't fucking have one, because you don't need a mixer to make good content.
But again,
budget isn't everything.
Yeah, but I never said that it is.
No, but that's the argument you're making. You're saying
that
equally talented people with more money will make better games, and I'm saying no, they won't.
They will objectively. You need to listen to what you're saying. If I have people with 100 talent, right? So Their talent is maxed out at 100, and I have people with
you don't
100
have
talent.
to. You don't
and
have
I
to
give
present the
one,
argument again. I don't
no,
agree
I
with
have
you.
to. I have to because
not
you
gonna
keep
convince
misrepresenting
me.
the argument. I don't want to convince you, but I do want you to represent my argument correctly.
Okay,
Because you keep
then
going,
let
then you
me
say to me,
represent your
wait,
argument.
wait. No.
Let me represent your argument.
I will represent my argument. You keep saying to me, oh, but what about the streamers that buy everything and then spend all of this money?
I will tell you.
Wait, but that is not, if you have a streamer, right, with a crap ton of talent, and you have a streamer with no talent, right, the one with the bigger budget will absolutely have a much better chance of making it big than the one with a smaller budget. Dude, if all other things are equal, in other words, they have the same opportunities, they have the same everything, the bigger budget will obviously win out because I have the ability to make my stuff look so much better than what you do. And it's not then a play on your talent. It's a play on the fact that I can just make my stuff look better.
Let me represent your argument from my words to make sure that I understood your argument, okay?
Yeah.
Given the exact same level of talent, somebody that has more money will produce a better game than somebody that has less money. This is your argument.
With exactly the same talent.
Yes, that's what I said. Given the exact same amount of talent, somebody with more money will produce a better game than someone that has less money. This is your argument.
Yes.
I don't agree. There.
I don't know how you can't.
Because I am like, I don't know how to explain it to you, but money isn't everything. And a lot of times having less money will force somebody to look for alternate solutions that will give the product a different texture, that might feel more authentic, that might feel better. It might even feel more polished.
You see, but
than a product that actually has more polish.
Yeah, but here's why I have a problem with what you're doing. Because what you're doing is you represent my argument correctly when you read it back to me.
Yes.
But then in your disagreement, you change the parameters of my argument entirely.
No, I didn't.
Because you keep going, well, budget isn't everything.
It isn't.
Yet that's not what I said. Because if both people have the talent, the guy with the budget is still going to be able to produce a phenomenal game.
So
the only difference is where he maybe has to, where the other guy has to cut a bunch of content and change his graphics from actual real graphics to maybe 8-bit in order to tell the same story. The guy with the budget can tell that phenomenal story with phenomenal graphics, with phenomenal voice acting,
and that's
with
not
everything baked into it.
And
it just is.
No, it isn't. Because the one thing that I feel like you are missing, and I don't know why this isn't clicking, is that when you don't have money, you have to come up with different ways of solving problems. And sometimes the pursuit of those different ways of solving a problem will lead to a better product. That is the argument that I'm making.
Yeah, but your argument sort of relies on sometimes. Whereas I am willing to bet 99 out of 100
But that's the thing. But that's the thing. Like, Balatro is an exception. Balatro isn't something that maybe somebody that had a bigger budget could have come up with.
Hey, dude, the thing is,
it's just that simple.
The
reason it even exists is predicated on the fact that this person likely didn't have a big budget, so that the thing that they could make is a card game.
Yeah, but again, you're outlining a different problem within the AAA industry that I don't have a problem with, because I said from the beginning, I am not attacking the guys from Astrobot or the guys from Balatro. I'm attacking the AAA industry because the AAA industry has killed creativity at the altar of bigger budgets.
Yeah,
whereas if you have
even if you have the creativity and the bigger budget, I still think that sometimes people with less budgets can come up with better product. 100%.
Let me give you a great example of a studio, 11-Bit Studios. 11-Bit Studios starts their journey, and they make the Starving Together series. and they do Oxygen Not Included, 8-bit, that's it. Their next game that's coming out is The Altars. The Altars is basically Oxygen Not Included, except now with AAA level graphics. And it is going to blow everyone's dick off because they have the talent. They just didn't have the money to play on the same stage as the AAA guys. But now that they have the money, they can take that talent and funnel it into better and bigger games. Fundamentally, the AAA industry is what I'm criticizing here. I'm not suggesting that a game like Balatro isn't phenomenal, and there is actually a best indie category year where Balatro can probably win that. And I'm not suggesting that a game like Balatro maybe doesn't belong on the Game of the Year list. I'm saying if a game like Balatro gets onto the Game of the Year list, it's a 1 in a million opportunity for them to actually win that. But it's not going to be the rule. And that was my point from the beginning. It's not the rule, it's the exception. Because if I took the guy that made Balatro and I gave him 50 million, he would objectively make a better Balatro with that 50 million than what he would end up making without the money.
He wouldn't, and he would tell you the same.
I highly doubt it.
I bet you
because if he didn't believe that, he wouldn't make Balatro in the first place.
I bet you that the developer would tell you the exact same thing that I'm telling you, which is if they gave him $50 million, he might not even know what to do with them.
No, but that's changing the parameters because
how is it changing the parameters? You just said if you give him $50 million, he'll make a better game, and I said no, he wouldn't. I didn't change anything.
Yeah, but
I just disagreed.
But my problem is you say no, he wouldn't, but then you also admit that it is 99 out of 100 times the bigger budget will win. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity for a game like Balatro to make it into Game of the Year.
I said Balatro is an exceptional game, and that's why it is in there.
But it's an exception to the rule.
We're getting lost in the sauce. The point is, it doesn't. You can argue that most of the times, if you give the same talented people more money, they might make a better product, but you can't argue 100% of the times that is going to happen. And that is the point that I'm making. It 100% will not happen. It is, I would even argue that it is not as big of a percentage as you might think.
I actually think it is a big percentage.
Nope.
The thing is, I think what you're doing is you're taking the chance that it might not happen.
You want to know the proof?
And you're using that as the thing of
you want to know the proof?
Well, since there is a chance for an indie game to be better than a well-produced AAA game.
I will say this with an example that you have perfect knowledge of because it is very much in your wheelhouse. World of Warcraft.
Uh-huh.
There's more budget on it now than there ever was. And there was more budget with the same talent that was there back when they were working on the game still all the way up into Cataclysm. Cataclysm probably had way more budget into it thrown than Wrath of the Lich King. Was it a better game?
Well, I happen to like Cataclysm.
Is it better than Wrath of the Lich King?
I personally put it slightly below, but only because of Office.
Wait. There was more budget though, and it was the same team.
Yeah, but it was still a good game.
Yeah, but it wasn't better.
But only because of the Lich King.
I don't care. I don't care why it was, but it wasn't better.
No, but you ask my brother, for example, who started playing in Wrath of the Lich King, and he actually thinks Cataclysm is way better.
I mean, but he's wrong, and you know he's wrong.
No, but that's his opinion, right? The point is, it was still very, very good. That the argument that you made about World of Warcraft now having more budget is not a one-to-one of what I said, because the talent is also significantly worse now.
The talent is way worse now. But I wasn't talking about now. I was talking about back then when it still had the same team, same talent, which I believe that for the Cataclysm is probably the same team. Hell, but Cataclysm, even Mists was probably still the same team as well.
Yeah, and there's plenty of people, just by the way, who played since vanilla, who actually believe Mist of Pandaria is the best expansion Blizzard ever made. So, you have people who believe different things. fundamentally, I do believe, I would like to hear what commenters have to say about this. Like, people can let us know in the comments, but if all things are equal, given exactly the same talent, the same quality in storytelling and writing, and the same quality in game design, would more money lead to a better product? And I think pointing to exceptions doesn't change the rule. On average, if you were to take a bet, so if I told you, right, $10,000 now, take a bet on these two games. This game had a $50 budget, and it was one guy that made it. This game, made by incredibly talented people, had a $50 million budget. Which one do you think is going to be better? Everyone is going to throw their money on the 50 million game because it just statistically
how much money was it in the first
chance. $50.
What the fuck? Come on, $50.
The dude bought coffee.
Fuck
That's it.
you.
It was one guy that worked on it. Well, even if you say $5,000,
that is the definition of a bad faith argument. Come on,
no,
$50.
Because
even
remember,
$5,000 to $50 million. Come on,
it's not actually a bad faith argument because usually when you listen to single developer games, they don't actually have a budget. So the guy from Mana Lords, for example, when they asked him about the budget for Mana Lords, he couldn't give them an answer because what budget? He bought food every day to eat, which he usually do, and he worked in his
brutally
private
successful.
Time, right? No, it was a phenomenal game, like absolutely phenomenal game. But you can already see the things that he's doing now once he has a budget. Like, he's starting to grow out of that, and he's able to use that budget far better now because he has the talent for it. I have been, and everyone knows this, I am a massive fan of the indie development scene, right? I'm a huge champion for Indian games. I love Indian games or indie games. But,
Indian games?
Yeah, indie games. But indie games are only doing as well as they are today because the AAA space dropped the ball. They became shit. They started chasing profits rather than chasing quality. Because if you do chase quality, a great example would be you cannot make Cyberpunk as it is today with no budget. It's not possible. It cannot be done. You cannot make Death Stranding with no budget. It cannot be done. Dragon's Dogma cannot be made without a budget. Elden Ring cannot be made without a budget. The only way you can make games of that quality and at that level is with millions of dollars. You have the talent, but you need the money in order to unlock the talent. And that is why I said games like Balatro making it onto the list is just a giant indictment of how bad the AAA industry has become, how badly they've fallen. Now, I am very happy
I still don't agree.
For the guy from Balatro because I even hope he wins, even though I personally think Elden Ring, the Shadow of the Earth Tree should win this.
Yes, it should.
I hope he wins because I do think the AAA industry should be kicked in the nuts over and over again until they puke.
But it's like I don't think it's fair to basically assign this as a failure of AAA because it is very reductive to the talent of the person who made Balatro. It's like, yeah, the reason you're here is because these other people don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I don't think that is the right message that it sends. And not to mention that I don't actually believe in the message, period. I believe that even in a place where the AAA industry is bombing and just bombing as in a good way, like it's blowing up, it's doing gangbusters. I think that even in a situation like this, a game like Balatro can and will rise through the ranks and might get nominated for Game of the Year.
I think in a space where AAA is blowing up and it's just doing phenomenally well, indie games are still going to have their space. But every indie game is making their indie game in order to become AA. They won't necessarily rise to AAA, but they want to be AA. They want to be able to spend the kind of money that Larian spent on Baldur's Gate 3, or the kind of money that Cyberpunk cost. That's why the guy from Balatro made his game. He doesn't want to continue to be an indie developer his entire life. He wants to become a AA, AAA developer.
You don't know this.
Dude, I can almost guarantee you that that's why he did it. It's
Dude,
very rare.
There's people
Again,
leaving the AAA industry every day to go become indie developers because they don't want to deal with the responsibility of working on a AAA game.
I don't think it's ever. I mean, everyone I've covered that have left publicly the AAA industry, they all say the same thing. They're no longer able to follow their passion and be creative in the AAA space. But they're not leaving to go to the indie space because they just always going to make indie games. They genuinely believe that their indie games can blow up and become big games and become good games. Because I think if you speak to anyone with actual talent that wants to make good games, having a bigger budget is such an easy thing, because now you can finally do those things that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to do. You can do them. You can actually make your dreams a reality. Whereas if you have no money to do something, then you can't. It's sort of like, to use your streamer example. If you're a streamer with no money, some of the things that you might dream of doing, you just can't do because you don't have the money. So you might dream of going to Gamescom and live streaming yourself at Gamescom, but you can't afford the backpack and the data and everything that goes with it. So you can't ever actually do it. But then you take that streamer and you finally give him that budget, and he finally gets to do the things that he always dreamt of doing because he genuinely is passionate about it. So he's never going to say no to the bigger budget.
And guess what? That doesn't necessarily mean that those things are going to be better content.
It doesn't necessarily mean it, but it does give you a much better chance.
As a matter of fact, I think there's probably a lot of examples of streamers that did get money and changed their content and people stopped watching.
Yeah, but again, you're talking about people who their only goal was to make more money.
Using your example. You're the one
but you're not using my example, because my example would be, this guy is an IRL streamer, right? But he only IRL streams in his backyard, as close to his modem as he possibly can, or in restaurants that have Wi-Fi, because he can't afford to have the backpack and stuff of his own.
And the moment that he starts going to Dubai, nobody gives a shit anymore.
I highly doubt that, because you do consistently see streamers that do a type of content get bigger and bigger as their budgets increase because they're making more and more money. Your argument is well taken. Some people get more money and then suddenly change their content entirely from what they used to do, and then it just falls flat because their audience didn't want it. But in general, the rule is, the more money you have, the better your quality gets, the better your content gets, and the more people start watching your content.
Not always.
No, not always, but that's the rule, right? Exceptions to all rules will always exist. That's why I said a game like Balatro, even in a world where all AAA games are brilliant, could still make it onto the Game of the Year list.
There you go. That's all I wanted. But that's going to be
I win once. No, but you don't win, because I've said this.
No, I won.
But I've said this 1,000 times.
No, it's over, bro.
How can it be over? That's been my argument the whole time. That's going to be an exception to the rule. That would leave all of us going, wait, how the hell did Balatro make it onto that list?
Oh,
I mean, this was a stacked year for AAA.
I won.
But you're not winning. I don't know how you're winning.
I'm winning.
Because if you're winning, that's only because
Comment section, let us know who won the debate. I want to know.
I want to know how you think you won this debate,
I just won. No, you just admitted it.
How?
Because you were saying that AAAs would replace Balatro. I said no, and I said there might be a situation where it won't. Okay, I win. There.
No, wait. But from the beginning said to you...
Stop thinking about it.
No.
You're wasting too much time. I already won.
I quickly want to ask you this.
Listen, I've already won.
Me telling you from the beginning, right, that you're basing your entire argument on the exception to the rule, not the rule, is what's the problem. And now I'm telling you, is exceptions possible? Yes. And you go, well,
that's
I win.
All I wanted. Yeah, that's all I wanted. That's what I was arguing for.
Yeah, but you can't base an entire debate on an exception to the rule.
I just did.
Exceptions to the rule mean that 99 out of 100 times, as I've said before,
It's
am
not
absolutely
99
right.
out of 100. I don't agree with that. I will give you 75.
You
That's
can
how
do
much you get.
75. That still makes me right 75% of the time.
That's fine. I
And
only
that
want it
still
to be
makes you
right
wrong
25% of the time.
75% of the time.
That's fine. I wasn't arguing that, I wasn't arguing that it can't happen. I was just arguing for the fact that you were saying better AAA would replace Balatro and Astrobot, and I was arguing better AAA could just as easily replace Final Fantasy VII and Metaphor, and Balatro and Astrobot could still be in there.
Yeah, and I say to you, my problem with that argument is fundamentally you're arguing for the exception to the rule. Exceptions to the rule generally
is that Balatro is that good. That's my argument. And I haven't even played it.
The thing is, the problem with that would be, right? So if you tell me, oh, but Akko, I'm absolutely let's say for example you say I'm absolutely straight. And I go, well, bro, there is a 1 in a million chance that you might suck a dick. Therefore, you are actually gay. You would go, dude, what the hell are you talking about?
Maybe I am.
Like, even if there is that 1 in a million chance that I would suck a dick, you can't make an entire argument based on the exception to the rule. The rule is what the argument needs to be based on, because the whole point of an exception to a rule is that it's rare, and when it happens, it shocks everyone. My point was, from the beginning, Balatro and Astrobot being on this list doesn't shock me, but that is because it shows you how bad the AAA industry has become.
Let me just tell you, because of how because it almost feels like you got a little bit debate bro midway there, and the way that you were presenting your argument was that there's no chance in hell that a lower budget would ever lead to a better game. And that is what I was arguing for. I was like, there are situations, exceptional situations, wherein a lower budget, same amount of talent can lead to a better game. And you kept saying, no, it's impossible. More money always means better game. And that's what I was arguing for.
The reason I will always do that is I do not argue the exception to the rule ever.
But I
acknowledge that exceptions to a rule can happen. I just want you to realize. But the problem is, if I ask you a genuine question, this guy has the same amount of talent as that guy, this guy has a bigger budget, which one will produce the better game? The easy answer for everyone has to be the guy with a bigger budget.
But that's
because
the thing.
The other argument,
the way in which you present the argument is absolutist.
Yeah, but the argument is absolutist.
If you were to tell me, if you give the same amount of budget to the same talented person, will the bigger budget person most of the time produce a better game? I would say yes. The problem is you said it will 100% of the time produce a better game every time. And I was like, no, I don't agree, because of the exceptions that you've accepted exist.
But you see, the problem is when I state I don't think I stated it exactly that harshly, but even if I did, the thing is, the second you go, well, no, because this guy with no budget, then you have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops, as you did. Well, because he can't do the big budget, he has to come up with intelligent solutions. So we're assuming that he can come up with intelligent solutions. And then we have to do these assumptions, all the while assuming that the other guy can't do the same thing with a bigger budget. And then also assuming that the other guy can't do even greater things with his bigger budget. So we're sort of making a whole list of assumptions for both guys, really. When in reality, the clear-cut assumption has to be that the guy with a bigger budget will always make the better game.
Let me just put it to you like this, and people are like, why are these guys still arguing about this? This is crazy. And
it's Mythic Banter, boys. Yeah. This is what we do.
No, but listen, the reason why I am extremely passionate about this very specific argument is because if I lived my life according to the way you look to this argument, I wouldn't be where I am.
I don't see how not.
I wouldn't be where I am because I'd be like, oh, there's no chance. There's no chance. I don't have the budget. No, but there's no chance. I've always, every single time, that I will like approach somebody for a podcast or I will approach people for a project, I've always punched above my weight every single time. And it's
but
like,
now,
and that's the thing. If I was to take the approach that you take on this, which is like, well, the person with the bigger budget will always win, and that's the way that it goes, and blah, 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 I would have given up and never have done half of the things that I have done in my life.
But you see, I don't see it as that at all. The realistic approach is these guys have much bigger budgets than me. They're probably going to make a much better game than me, but I'm still going to try because you never know. I might be that exception to the rule. And that's how you should live. But you should be realistic in knowing that I don't have their budget. I might not be able to pull it off, but I'm still going to try, right?
It's
so
just a
my
very
argument isn't saying
attitude.
I don't see it as defeatist. I see it as realistic.
Yeah, well,
the thing is, if you
I like
start
challenging
your
the
indie
odds.
Game, but that doesn't speak to my argument or against my argument because you're not going into it thinking, well, there's just zero difference between me and the guy with a bigger budget, because then you are probably going to shoot yourself in the foot. You know that there is a difference, and despite that, it probably makes you work even harder because you don't have that budget, so you have to compromise in many other ways. And that's what ultimately leads to something like Balatro. But it's still important that you know you don't have that budget. So you have to put more effort into it because the guy with the bigger budget does have one up on you, right? I have no problem with your life philosophy, and nothing in my argument, I think, destroys your life philosophy in any way because I do the same thing, right? I live the exact same way.
I just want chat to let us know in the comment section who won, because clearly I've won. I have defeated you. I have crushed you.
I do not see how you can.
If I did, I won because that's what I do. I win, just like Monster Hunter Wilds will win for most anticipated game.
It will not win.
It will. You will be proven wrong, sir. You'll see.
No, that's fine. But anyways, guys, we had a lot of other topics to discuss as well, but me and Rurikon got into an hour conversation.
I won.
Let us know in the comment section down below who you think won and if you understood what we have to say. You see, this is another one of the examples where you have a much bigger audience than me, so you're gonna win because
I have a bigger budget.
Yeah, you have a bigger budget in terms of viewers. So I'm gonna lose.
Let me tell you what I'm gonna do, Akalon. Wait, I'm gonna crush you with my wallet. That's what you get.
Yeah, all of the Rurikon stands coming in here. Akalon, you're just a moron. So. I can't wait to read those comments. Thank you so much.
So wait a second. You're pivoting into a position where even if I win, you win.
Yeah.
With the fucking 5D chess.
Bro, that's how it works, right? Even if I lose this election, I will not accept the results.
Look at Akalon being like, if I win, I win. And if you win, I win.
So what I'm doing is we do a poll every single week at the launch of the show. And I'm actually going to write here, who won the debate?
Oh my God.
I'm actually adding this now. Who won the debate?
The best show.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, I want you guys to note, okay, how we got into a heated argument. We discussed it. We talked through it. And at the end, we're joking around with it and we don't give a fuck. Yeah, that is what we want for the internet.
Yes.
This is what we want. This is how everybody should handle all of their issues. You talk it out, you disagree, and then at the end, you declare that I won and Akalon lost, and it's that simple.
No, we'll see. Even if I lose, I win. So it's fine.
That was awesome.
That is literally going to be our poll for this week. Who won the debate, Akalon or Rurikon? But all right, ladies and gentlemen, if you watched until now, let us know in the comment section down below. We really appreciate all of you for being here, for hanging out with us. We had a bunch of other topics. Maybe some of those topics some of those topics can actually move over to next week.
Yeah, we'll see.
So it should be fine. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, Rurikon, thank you so much for joining. As always, be good to each other. Be kind to each other. And we will see all of you in the next one.
Vote Moss on Wilds for most anticipated game. Go do it. Peace.
Day Stranding 2. Peace.